Good evening, everyone. All right, it's so awesome to see everyone here tonight. The Clayton County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting is now called to order. The date is April 15, 2025, and the time is 6 o'clock p.m. Next, we will do our roll call. District 1.
Here.
District 3.
Present.
District 4.
Present.
And District 2.
Here.
All right, great. All right, our invocation tonight will be by Reverend Charles Wright, Senior Pastor of the Emmanuel Light of the World. Would you please come forward? After that, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. Please stand.
Thank you for this opportunity, Commissioners. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day, Father, and even before we ask for anything, we thank you for everything. We thank you for life. We thank you for strength in our bodies, Lord. We thank you, Lord, that you have given us this day today, for this is the day that you've made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. This is my prayer today, God, that even as we are coming together for the purposes of making this county, Lord, even more prosperous than it already is, even as we are deliberating on different pieces of information as it relates to this county, I pray for the peace of God even in this room tonight. The Bible tells us in Romans 12:18, if it be possible to have peace with all men. And I pray tonight, Lord, that there will be peace that will cover this entire room tonight. I thank you, Lord, for every commissioner, Lord, that is represented. I thank you for Dr. Henry, for Reeves, for Commissioner Hembrick, for Commissioner Allen, Commissioner Davis. Continue to give them godly wisdom to lead this county. I thank you, Lord. Let them be reminded, God, that even them, they're not in this alone, but they have you to lead and to guide them. So for that reason, Father, we'll give you great praise. We'll give you great glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First on the agenda would be the adoption of the agenda. Do any board members have any amendments during this time?
Yes.
Board members, do we have any amendments to the agenda at this time?
I would like to move items 18, 19, and 21 to the regular agenda, please.
Clear?
You got them, Madam Clerk?
Yes, ma'am.
18, 19, and 21. All right. Any other board members at this time?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, I would like to move number 22 and 33 to the regular agenda.
So we have items 18, 19, 21, 22, and 33. Is that correct?
I'd also like to move item 34 to the regular agenda.
So again, 15, 19, 21, 22, 33, and 34. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Also, do we have any items that we need to add to
Yes,
the
ma'am.
agenda as well? Mr. Reed, you can come up and speak to that.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and board members. Resolution 2025 I'd like to add, which is a resolution authorizing the Amnesty Day initiative for trash debris disposal, to authorize the chairwoman to execute all documents necessary and otherwise to perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of the resolution, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget where necessary to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expense also may be required, to provide an effective date of this resolution for other purposes. This is the reason why this is being requested to be added today is because there is a Amnesty Day initiative that is set for the 18th and 19th and 25th and 26th, and there will not be another board meeting before those days.
All right. So at this time, I need a motion to adopt the agenda with the emergency edition for 2025-75 for the resolution for Trash Amnesty Day.
Is that 25, 75?
78.
78, I'm sorry, 78. All right. All right, 2025-78. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I second it. All right, any discussion at this time, board members? Yes, Ms. Reeves?
I have a question for our attorney. I'm curious, why is it that this resolution is just being brought before the board?
I believe that when the advertisement went out, that it was not noticed that the Amnesty Day initiative was put before the board. So there's a lot of advertisement going on, but then going back and looking, there was no initiative that this board approved to move forward with that, which is the reason why it's going on today.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions at this time? All right, are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Next, item 5, we will have presentations and proclamations. The first proclamation will be for the Clayton County, where Clayton County honors CCPD Animal Control Supervisor, Mr. James Townsend, from Chairwoman Dr. Lika Anderson Henry. And then we will have a SPLOST Committee 2026 presentation from the COO's office. All right. Good job. We can come on down.
You're not reading it?
Y'all could have this, they can get started.
Clayton County celebrates the naming of the James Townsend Pet Adoption Center. Whereas Mr. James Townsend joined the Clayton County Animal Control Division in 1997, achieving the rank of supervisor. He was an exemplary employee, a valued friend, and a respected co-worker who honorably served the residents and animals for 27 years until his passing in 2024. And whereas, as a supervisor, Mr. Townsend was a familiar and welcome face at community meetings. He actively listened to concerns and worked to educate the public about animal welfare and responsible pet ownership. He took particular concern with the issue of dogfighting, focusing his time to combat this cruelty and earning recognition as a trusted expert by the county's prosecutor in such cases. And whereas, James Townsend worked at the Enfield Block Adoption Center since its opening. During its construction, he provided input for the facility to contain all the necessary areas and equipment to care for the animals. In recognition of his impactful service, the police chief recommended the renaming of the facility, located at 3199 Enfield Block Road, Ellenwood, Georgia, to the James Townsend Pet Adoption Center. And whereas, through Resolution 2024-264, the Board of Commissioners officially adopted and renamed the facility. The Clayton County Police Department will commemorate the occasion by dedicating the James Townsend Pet Adoption Center on Monday, April 28, 2025 at 10 a.m., which would have been James Townsend's 59th birthday. Now, therefore I, Chairwoman Dr. Lika Anderson Henry, on behalf of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, do hereby pay tribute in memoriam to Supervisor James Townsend, a champion for pets and animals. His advocacy for their care made Clayton County a better place, and we dedicate this facility in his honor to ensure his legacy lives on. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Clayton County, Georgia, to be affixed this 15th day of April in the year 2025.
Oh yeah. Madam Chair asked if there was anything I wanted to say, and usually my answer is no, we've said enough. This is different. When we have leaders in the community that give the majority of their life to their mission and the community, we got to take a moment and pause. And in this space, you often hear from citizens about what was not going on right in their eyes in animal control. Well, I'm telling you, James Townsend was everything that was right about animal control and service in this county. So yes, ma'am, I wanted to say that, and if you would, please join us on the 28th after we name that building about a true leader in this community and somebody who cared about everyone and everything.
All right, next will be the presentation by the SPLOST Committee 2026 from our COO, Mr. Dietrich Stamper, and our DCOO, Mr. Landry Murkerson.
All right, good evening, citizens, Chairwoman, Dr. Leka Anderson Henry, our Vice Chair, Commissioner Reeves, and the rest of our esteemed board. This afternoon, our goal is to give you an update about the timeline as we prepare for our 2026 SPLOST. As our citizens know, over the last, over the last decade, or last 2 decades, we've been very fortunate to have our citizens approve our SPLOST program that plays a huge role as it pertains to our capital needs throughout the county. Our Deputy COO will come forth and give an overview of the timelines and the statutory requirements that are needed in order for us to meet that tenet. But more importantly, if the board sees fitting in the municipalities for us to have a referendum that will come before the board, hopefully here in November, for our citizens to determine if we can renew that 1 penny. So DCO will talk more about that and answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. COO, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board. What I want to do, and I will be brief, but basically what I want to do is just kind of run you through the governing statutes of SPLOST and kind of give you some dates and timelines that we are up against in order to try to have a continuation of our SPLOST on the November ballot. The thought process in moving this expeditiously is ACCG typically recommends that you leave yourself at least 2 bites at the apple with a SPLOST. And so to get the new one implemented before the old one expires would require us to try to have a referendum this November and then have a fallback for next November as collections on the current 21 SPLOST in December 26. So real quick, Georgia Code 48-8-110.1 subsection A provides the authority granted in Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 6 of the Constitution of the state, which essentially creates 159 special tax districts. Obviously, there being 1 for every county in the state. Subsection B speaks to when the imposition of special district sales tax and use tax is authorized according to the procedures provided in this part. The governing authority of any county in the state, subject to the requirement of a referendum approval and other requirements, may impose a special district or a special tax within the district and use tax for a limited period of time in which that tax shall be known as the county special purpose local option sales tax or SPLOST. The next applicable code section is Georgia Code 48-8-111, subparagraph A, which speaks to prior to the issuance of the call for the referendum and prior to the vote of a county governing authority within a special district to impose a tax under this part, such governing authority may enter into an intergovernmental agreement with any or all of the qualified municipalities that are located within the special district. That is historically how the county has moved with its SPLOST programs, as we've entered into an intergovernmental agreement with all of our municipalities. And in speaking with Attorney Reed, the breakdown of the SPLOST has typically followed that of the LOST as far as percentages based off population, but we do kind of enter into that IGA. And within that IGA, and we'll get into this visually here when we get down to the timeline, but this subsection provides that written notice is provided to the mayor or chief elected official of each municipality. The notice shall contain the date and time and place and purpose of a meeting to discuss the proposed projects for the upcoming SPLOST. That notice shall be delivered or mailed at least 10 days before the meeting. The meeting shall take place at least 30 days prior to the issuance of a call for the referendum. And then following the meeting and the call for the referendum, the resolution shall be forwarded to the county election superintendent with a list of proposed projects. Those days become important as we get into the timeline here in just a couple minutes. Next governing statute is Georgia Code 48-8-111, subparagraph A, number 2. The maximum period of time to be stated in calendar years or calendar quarters and not to exceed 5 years unless the provisions of paragraph 1 of subsection B or subparagraph B2A of Code Section 48-8-115 are applicable. Long story short, with this particular code section is the max time we can run a SPLOST is 5 years. The exception to that is if there are level 1 projects included, and if those level 1 projects meet certain criteria, then that process can be extended to 6 years. But for most of our SPLOST, we do not exceed the 5 years, and in any case, you cannot exceed 6 years from a collection standpoint.
Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, can you give us an example of a level 1?
So level 1 projects, there's 4 examples. They are county administration buildings, jails, Chuck, help me with the other 2. They basically are buildings that are used by the entire county and are not municipality specific. So a municipal fire station or, a county fire station wouldn't qualify as a level 1 project.
Or a library in the district?
Right. Level 1 projects, as you know, come off the top of any SPLOST, so depending on the scope and size of a level 1 building, it could potentially consume the entire SPLOST.
Right.
So, and then if that's the case and that's a county level 1 facility, then there would be no division of the proceeds to the municipalities, as that level 1 would take the entire SPLOST.
Okay. So is there a limit? I mean, it can go past 5 years, but is there still a limit of how long we can collect?
5 years would be the limit, unless there's certain stipulations, and that would be project-based. Mm-hmm. In no circumstances can we exceed 6.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
Yes, so that's the ultimate maximum, and those circumstances are few and far between. With the SPLOST that we've had, they've all been 5 years.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Next code section, Georgia Code 48-8-111. B, that specifically states upon receipt of the resolution or ordinance, the election superintendent shall issue the call for an election for purpose of submitting the question of the imposition of the tax to the voters of the county that are located within the special tax district. Georgia Code 48-8-112, subparagraph A, if the imposition of the tax is approved at the special election, the tax shall be imposed on the first day of the next succeeding calendar quarter, which begins more than 80 days after the date of the election, at which time the tax was approved by the voters. So the next code section we'll talk about. Let's just go ahead and talk about it real quick. So Code 48-8-112C, at any time no more than a single 1% sales tax under this part may be imposed within a special district. However, I know that kind of contradicts because we're talking about trying to approve one when we have one. However, subparagraph 2 of that says the governing authority of a county in a special district in which a tax authorized by this part is in effect, while the tax is in effect, adopt a resolution or ordinance calling for the reimposition of a tax as authorized by this part upon the termination of the tax then in effect. So essentially, the code allows the county, if we want to have a continuation of our current SPLOST, the code allows the county to go ahead and have a referendum to call for the vote to continue the 1% sales tax, with the caveat that it has to go into in this case, more than 80 days would have lapsed past the election because we're about a year out right now. However, if this was to go in November of next year, we would have to wait 80 days past December of 2026 for the new tax to go and start collections. So that's the importance of having kind of 2 bites at the apple. And to make that make a little bit more sense.
And Chief, on that note, so that would not be an additional sales tax?
No, ma'am.
It would be the continuation?
It would be a continuation. So no
we'll
collections would start on what's deemed as the 2026 SPLOST, even though collections would start in 27. No collections would begin until the expiration of the current 21 SPLOST, which ends December of 26.
Okay,
So it's a continuation of and not an additional.
That we'll make that clear when that time comes.
Well, that's
People
correct,
will
because the
know.
state law prohibits us from having an additional tax.
Right. Well,
So we can only have the
I'm sure to
one.
get confused by that
Yes,
time,
ma'am.
So people won't think that we're adding another
No, ma'am.
tax.
This would be a
That
continuation of the one that
Okay.
so far goes back to 2004. when it's just been continued and continued in 5-year increments.
Just hope we can keep that.
So to understand the dates and why they're fast-tracked, so here's the elections calendar. So what this is telling us is that the last day or the last board meeting before the deadline to have a call to the elections is August 5th of 2025. So that will be your last scheduled board meeting where you could pass a resolution to call for a referendum in order to get that to the Board of Elections. The Board of Elections has a meeting on August 12th, at which time they would have to vote to accept that and then place the call for the question on the ballot. On the very next day, the notice of call would have to go to the legal organ. August 20th is when the publication is done. September 10th, the verification verbiage on the ballot proof, the sign-off is required. Published dates you see there, October 7th, 14th, 21, 28, election date on November 4th. So what does that mean for us? So we're going to work backwards with our timeline here. So we know that the BOC has to approve a resolution to call, well, you don't have to, but your last opportunity to approve is the August 5th, 2025 board meeting. So there's a statutory requirement that 30 days before that can happen, minimum of 30 days. We don't have to wait for 30, but obviously we can start meeting whenever. But 30 days minimum to meet with the municipalities on our project list. That bumps us back to July 5th. There's a 10-day minimum for that notice to be filed per state law, so written notice must be provided by June 23rd. 48 days back to adoption of a committee resolution. If, depending on how the board chooses to move, and we're going to talk about that. And then from April 15th, which is today, until the next opportunity to approve some level of structure absent a special called meeting is 21 days. So when you look at it, we don't really have a lot of time to put this together. Luckily, we've been going through and making lists of projects that we know need to be accomplished, ones that were proposed but were cut out of the 21 SPLOST, and then of course new projects that have come forth through building and maintenance, fire, police, sheriff, pretty much everybody that has some level of capital need. So historically speaking, in the 2015 SPLOST, there was a committee created by the Board of Commissioners of Citizens. There were no county staff assigned to that committee. They kind of got together, vetted all the projects, and then brought that back to you guys. That process was done for the 2015 SPLOST. It was also done for the 2009 SPLOST, and I have the resolutions listed. The 21 SPLOST was not done that way. So the 21 SPLOST, there was a citizen committee formed, but it was not by ordinance or resolution of the board. And it was similarly for timing purposes. So there was a citizen committee put together that vetted the projects along with the department heads and the office of the COO. That list was brought back to the board and the municipalities once voted on by all. Then that's the language that went to the elections to call for that referendum. So essentially where we are now is between April 15th and May 6th, we need to figure out how y'all want to run this. And then put something in place to be able to start that process as soon as possible, because we would only have roughly about 48 days before we have to make notice to the formal notice of the municipalities for that formal meeting. Now, all this work is still going on in the background, but we want to make sure that we're hitting the statutory deadlines and what the state law requires us to do before we can call for the referendum.
So, Markson,
Board
so
members,
if
are-
we do,
are you through yet? Are you still?
Yes, ma'am. No,
Okay,
ma'am.
so
That's
are
all I
there-
had.
Are there any questions at this time,
Yeah.
Commissioner Davis?
so if we were to do a citizens committee or what, we'd want that in a resolution for that Tuesday, May the 6th meeting?
Doesn't have to be. In other words, previously,
Because there
it was
was a
done in a resolution, but if we go back to the resolution numbers, so for the 2015 SPLOST, that resolution was passed in 2013.
Now, was it for just that specific SPLOST, or was it ongoing?
Well, that was to create the citizen committee for the 2015
Okay,
SPLOST, so
that's
it was done almost 2 years in advance.
Okay.
And the same thing for the 2009 SPLOST, that was resolution number 2007-153.
All right, thank you.
So that was, once again, I think that one, looking at the number, that's probably mid to the third quarter of that year. Mm-hmm. So you had roughly about a year and a half or so to pull your data together and get that process going. So state law does not say how you have to do it. It's the will of the board. The only thing state law dictates is 30 days before you pass a list of projects, we need to meet with the cities. Okay. That's the only thing state law requires. Okay. So how the process moves between now and that deadline is purely at the will of the board.
Commissioner Hambrick, you have any questions?
No.
All right, Commissioner Allen?
No questions.
All right, and Commissioner Reeves?
Oh, I just had one clarification question.
Yes, ma'am.
Since we have upcoming primary elections for the Public Service Commission, can you just provide clarification on why the county is considering having a SPLOST election in November versus in June? For anyone who wonders why there's a separate election in June and will be another election in November, can you provide that clarification?
Well, so the election that we will run in November is already a scheduled election. And the reason why we're not doing it in June is timing. We don't have time to meet the statutory requirements to hit all of these deadlines, nor do we have time to pull together our project list between now and June.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Board members, are there any other questions at this time? Thank you, DCO Murkison.
Yes, ma'am.
Next will be public comment.
The board will now hear public comments. Citizens will be given 3 minutes maximum time limit to speak before the board with a total time of 30 minutes. Comments must be limited to matters on the agenda or over matters which the governing body has jurisdiction. Speakers must maintain decorous demeanor and refrain from personal attacks upon board members, shouting, and using obscene language. Please state your name and county of residency for the record. Speak clearly into the microphone, and speakers should be courteous, respectful, and not make any disparaging remarks or use abusive language when addressing the board.
First on public comment will be Dr. Henry Anderson.
Good evening, Chairwoman Mrs. Dr. Leeka Anderson-Henry, Madam Vice Chair and District 1 Commissioner Ms. Elena Reeves, District 3 Commissioner Mrs. Tasha Allen, District 2 Commissioner Ms. Gail Hambrick, and District 4 Commissioner Mr. DeMont Davis. And continuing with my Clayton County Board of Commissioners performance appraisal, assessment, evaluation standards, benchmarks, metrics, and criteria that I will be using in determining your overall numerical grade rating score. I will now start at your evaluation benchmark, metrics, and criteria number 7, which is the ability of all 5 of you as our Clayton County Board of Commissioners to take ownership, responsibility, and leadership on any incorrect, wrong, bad, adverse, horrendous, terrible, or unsuccessful decision that you all make or ordinance that you all pass, and upon immediately realizing your mistake, immediately taking strong corrective action by rescinding, reversing, rectifying, remedying, and repealing your error, and immediately making the right decision, along with the successful repairing of any damage, hurt, or harm that may have been caused, therefore making right the undesirable situation that had been caused. Evaluation benchmarks, metrics, and criteria number 8, which is your openness, responsiveness, receptiveness, and willingness to listen attentively and pay close attention to the good and great citizens of Clayton County when they present to all 5 of you, our Clayton County Board of Commissioners, new, improved, and better ways of doing things to make Clayton County a great county to live, work, play, enjoy, and improving our quality of life in Clayton County. And also to keep Clayton County moving in an upward and successful trajectory. And your acceptance, agreement, and immediate, swift, speedy, and quick action in implementing, executing, and carrying out the ideas, plans, orders, instructions, directives, and courses of actions on information presented and given to you by the good and great citizens of Clayton County. I will give the last 2 evaluation benchmarks, metrics, and criteria that will be used in your Clayton County Citizens Evaluation process during the public commenting section at the next Clayton County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting 3 weeks from now on Tuesday, May the 6th, 2025 at 6:00 p.m. To all, continue to have a very productive, great, engaging, orderly, excellent, exceptional, and outstanding rest of your Clayton County Board of Commissioners regular business meeting on this evening, Tuesday, April the 15th, 2025. Good day.
Thank you. Next on the agenda will be Mr. Orlando Gooding.
Orlando Gooden, District 3. Commissioner Hambrick's meet and greet was very good. Her constituents got a chance to put a face with a name. Commissioner Hambrick, you caught me off guard when you asked me to introduce myself. I said I am not an organizer or an activist. I am a voice of a community that wants to hold commissioners transparent and accountable. Will one of you put on the agenda a quarterly Board of Commissioners work session meeting for a Q&A from the public? I want to see who votes against it. Commissioner Allen asked for an open budget hearings, agenda item number 37. Also, I want a forensic audit, not just an in-house audit, because there is going to be another millage rate increase. Stop the waste, fraud, and abuse, and don't hire any crony consultants that don't consult. The chair said we need to look past the previous sheriff's administration, but that is part of the reason there are legal expenses and lawsuits that affect the general fund, as well as lawsuits caused by the current chair. DC Deputy Chief Financial Officer Angela Jackson said, the sheriff has a budget of $6 million a month. That is $72 million a year. So why is he underfunded with only $58 million? If you want to restrict the sheriff to his constitutional responsibilities, then we will have an increase in crime and more litter on the streets. The problem with doing that is it opens the door for that scam called mandatory trash. Because as soon as you start seeing more trash on there, you think mandatory trash is going to cure that problem. It won't. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Rhonda Ashley.
Good evening. Rhonda Ashley, District 3, Hampton. Good evening, Madam Chairman, Commissioner Allen, Board of Commissioners. I just want to take a moment to address House Bill 92, signed into law by Governor Kemp, which gives you the opportunity to reverse your decision on House Bill 581 and opt in to have property taxes increases capped at the rate of inflation. I realize the chances of you reversing your decision are slim to none. However, I want to remind you that the erroneously inflated appraisals and property tax assessments that we've received in recent years are still a very real and present issue. In addition to opting out of House Bill 581, some commissioners have stated that it's not the right time to increase the homestead exemption. The reality is, as we manage our household budgets, we often have to pivot and adjust without having the luxury of time. My escrow analysis for this year from my mortgage company gives me the option of paying roughly $2,100 to cover the projected shortfall for my property taxes and homeowners insurance, or pay a monthly mortgage increase of $280 to cover that shortfall. Unfortunately, I can't tell Wells Fargo that it's not the right time for an increase. Either I avail myself of one of those two options, or I risk my home going into foreclosure, and I've got about 45 days to figure that out. So passively waiting for the right time is just not reality. Sadly, any action or even inaction leaves us in the same predicament for yet another year, as it does nothing to impact the property taxes that we will pay in 2025. The best that we can hope for is to see these issues remedied in 2026, and each of you need to be mindful that time is of the essence, and it's going to take your actions in the present to make a difference in what we end up experiencing a year from now and in years to come. I urge you to reconsider and avail yourselves of the opportunity to opt into House Bill 581 under the provisions set forth in House Bill 92, which allows you until April 30th to reverse your original decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Mr. Mickey Garber.
Madam Chair, I respectfully yield the floor to the next legitimate speaker.
Thank you. Yeah. Next will be Pat Bryant.
Good afternoon, Pat Bryant, District 3. Good afternoon to all my board members. I just want to say that I always, Chairman and Henry, I always promote cleanliness and trying to keep the county looking beautiful. So I just ask if it's any way possible that we could look into a street sweeper for transportation and development so we could keep the main arteries, just like, for example, they're building a new development on Thomas Road. When you go down Thomas Road and you see all the pine straw, there's no way you can sell homes for $250K. So I just always promote trying to keep the county looking decent. And I just pray that as we develop the county, no more gas stations, no more apartments. I mean, Commissioner Allen, what I'm saying is that Circle K right there at Weld Road and Highway 85, it hasn't been open maybe 6 months and already a fatality. It just doesn't take 3 gas stations, 4 gas stations at one intersection. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Ms. Brenda Harrison.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Commissioners, staff, and citizens. There have been many citizens of Clayton County who came before this board to express their concerns about the rise in property taxes, and justifiably so. I'm here to share with everyone about a free jewel that is offered to all citizens of all ages. That would be the Clayton County Office of Digital Equity. This office offers free digital skill training to all Clayton County employees, residents, and business owners. Not only that, the Office of Digital Equity is committed to providing residents with more than just free laptops. They also offer quality technical training designed for personal and professional growth. Through these trainings, the residents can reach their full potential, ultimately contributing to workforce and economic development in our county. Now, ask me how I know this. Well, I'll tell you. I have taken several classes, including the Python coding class. Now, as a 71-year-old mom, grandma, and great-grandma, I know that as we get older, an underused brain will shrink, and that will cause dementia and Alzheimer's. By keeping the brain active, the shrinkage is preventable. So I encourage all residents of Clayton County to take advantage of this free service that is offered by the county. I have these flyers on the back table, and you're free to pick up one. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harrison. Next is Jean-Claude Bourget.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, Madam Vice Chair, and good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jean-Claude Bourget, and I live in District 4. My simple question is to ask that the budget should be made a public hearing budget, and if there's any strategic reason why it shouldn't be, I'd love to be informed of why. If not, please make it clear so that I, as a tax-paying citizen, can find out exactly what's going on with the money in this county. And I would like to yield the rest of my time to Jean-Pierre Bourget.
good evening, Chair, Commissioners, and citizens of Clayton County. My name is Jean-Pierre Bourget, District 4. So as I've shared before, tonight I will continue to share economic development information. And this evening in particular, I would like to provide you all with insights that I gathered during our last Clayton County Office of Economic Development tour that occurred last Wednesday on April 9th. This event brought together more than 30 participants, including developers, commercial brokers, and officials from cities such as Forest Park, Lovejoy, as well as a representative from the governor's office. During my time on the tour, I talked to them, and this is what I learned. First, there is a real interest in developing in Clayton County. Speaking with brokers and developers, they want to build in our county. But what I also heard was people don't know who to talk to. They ask, what office do we talk to? What is the RFP process? How do I get started? There is a lack of coordination when it comes to who or how economic is getting done here in this county. Here in Clayton County, we do have separate economic development office and a development authority, which is fine, as other counties do. But the key, however, is that the economic development office generally is the point which focuses on business recruitment, retention, and expansion, whereas your development authority is focusing on the financing and the bonds. But what is not regular is the lack of communication between the two. Secondly, in talking to Sebastian Barron, who is the state representative for Governor Kemp's office, there are multiple opportunities for foreign investment in the county. Although we are currently waiting to see the impacts of the tariffs, it is critical that we build an effective economic development strategy that has an eye on the potential for incorporating foreign trade as a tool for us to build wealth for our citizens. Lastly, it was clear that there is a need for a strategic economic development vision. And why do I say this? As shared earlier, brokers and developers were excited to get started selling land and building. But when I asked what they wanted to use the land for, they said the highest and best use is for gas stations and quick service restaurants. So as you can see, if we don't proactively set a vision for how we want our community to develop, outside brokers and developers will be quick to shape it to their needs. And as we have seen over the years, a lot of times those needs don't meet the needs of our citizens. But the good news, though, is they're ready to start, right? And people see the value of our county. And however—
Mr. Bourget, your time is up, but I'm going to give you an extra minute because you're next. So is that okay?
So typically you would have one person's time end and then the next person come and start. So
because he's next on the agenda. His father gave, was that your father? He gave him his time.
Can't do that, but you can give him an extra minute, I guess. If,
can I give him an extra minute?
If that's
okay with the board, sure. So he can finish. Are you all fine with that? All right, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So as stated before, the good news is that when we are ready to develop, there's a line of people out the door that see our value. The key, however, is that we must have a strategic vision to ensure it's being developed in the way in which the citizens want. So with that in mind, I also wanted to share with you guys a potential, specifically a potential strategic economic development vision, just to share, to get your thoughts. So in general, I've had the opportunity as an individual board member to have talked to each one of you, right? I heard from the chair about the need for building on the Moving Clayton Forward comprehensive plan and embracing a CCC philosophy. I've heard from Commissioner Davis about reinvigorating the Southern Regional Medical Corridor and opening up the Flint River. I've heard from Commissioner Hambrick about strengthening ties to the airport and building stronger communities, and Commissioner Allen in creating quality entertainment districts so our populations don't have to leave the county.
Ms. Bourget, your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next is Mr. Christopher Gallagher.
Good evening, Commissioners, Chairwoman, Christopher Gallagher, Clayton County. We have a beautiful county there. But one of the things is that affects it is when you have all these signs up everywhere, they're Lopez Roofing, you know, hair braiding and that. And it's like we have Eden Fresh Market on County Line Road there. And every time something comes in there, they put it up. They've had banners right up next to the road there for the gym. Then they have up for the smoke shop. They add it. Then you get signs for the nail braiding there. And then you get other signs. People are like, oh, well, the signs are staying up here. Nobody's taking them down. So then they're putting up signs for pressure washing houses and everything. And when you just drive by there, it just makes it look trashy. And then you have a little Chinese restaurant in the shop there. So when people come out, you know, they're just throwing the trash right in the wood line next there. The trash is like, you know, terrible there. But I mean, it's an asset having, you know, some of these stores close by there. But, you know, the signage, I know is against county rules, being right next to the roadway there. But, you know, it's never addressed there. So people just keep putting it up, and then they even put up signs on the stop signs there that could distract drivers looking at that and saying, pay attention to the stop sign, you know, there. So I wish it's something that you could address there, because it really does make it look trashy, you know, all the signs. And they've been up there for like 2 years at least, and they're growing.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gallagher.
Thank
Can
you.
you see Major McDonald from Code Enforcement so he can address that issue for us?
Okay, sure.
All right. Is Major McDonald still here? If not, I'll get you two together so he can address it with you. Next is Johnny Lee.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, Commissioners. I live in District 2. Basically, what I would like to say, I am proud to be a Clayton County resident.
Sir, can you state your name for the record?
My name is Johnny Lee.
Thank you.
Anyway, basically what I would like to suggest is that we create a advisory or some type of board committee that will recommend to commissioners or to whoever the powers may be for the things that we may want to see in our county. For example, for attached townhomes or any type of zone change, we need to have committees to state what we want to see. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, if the committee will look at, say, okay, how is this going to affect the neighborhood? What is this going to do to our roads? Things of that nature. What the roads may look like in 10, 20, 15 years. You know, is there enough border room for, you know, for any road expansions and things of that nature? Now, one of the things that really concerns me is just seeing this weekend the new plans for the high school for North Clayton. It's a really fabulous looking place. They're gonna have a golf course and all that. And I really would like to have a committee to make sure that we do not put things in that neighborhood that will kind of diminish what they're doing for that high school or the new high school, such as gas stations, over densifying, you know, certain areas. So that's what I'm requesting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. This now completes public comment. We will now move to our consent agenda.
May I have a motion?
All right, at this time, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion at this time? All right, are you ready for the question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Next, we will move to the regular agenda, and we'll start with those items which board members moved, starting with item 18, the budget amendment -231, FY25, other general government. All right, Ms. Merritt?
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, Chair and Vice Chair and Commissioners. Due to my recent leave, I'm going to ask DCFO Angela to go over. She's more familiar with them.
The first, budget amendment 2-31 in the amount of $118,211. Appropriate funds for the beautification of landscaping and right-of-way services annual contract as approved by the BOC on July 18th, 2023.
All right, and this time I need a motion for item 18.
Oh, so moved.
All right, I second that motion. All right, is there any discussion at this time?
Yes, I have a question.
All right.
Well, first, thank you so much for this sheet. It's amazing.
You're welcome.
My question is, why is this budget amendment necessary in fiscal year 25 when the contract was approved in 2023?
The contract was approved. From my understanding, I think additional spaces have been added to that contract for those particular vendors to complete the beautification around the county, and that's why it's a little more than was anticipated.
So it's so they're asking for more money to complete the task?
They aren't asking for more money. They have more spaces that have been added
Gotcha.
for them
Gotcha.
to beautify.
Okay,
around
okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions at this time? All right. Commissioner Reed, did you have a question?
I do. It's short. It sounds like, is this additional request, was there an amendment to the contract? Is this a part of any change of service agreement?
I am not sure on that. I'm not sure if there's someone from Refuge or Central Services that could address that part.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman. Good afternoon, Board Commissioners. Just to notify, this is an annual contract, so it's on an as-needed basis. So it's like a unit item. Therefore, when you need items, that's how you would purchase. And if they need a budget, meaning the user departments, they would go through finance. But it is an as-needed contract.
All right. Any other questions at this time, board members? All right. Are you ready for the question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Next is 19, Budget Amendment 2-32, FY25 Refuse Control.
Budget Amendment 2-32 in the amount of $99,000 appropriates funds for part-time wages and sanitation expenses for the remainder of fiscal year 2025.
All right, I need a motion at this time.
So moved.
All right, I second that motion. Any questions at this time?
Yes.
Commissioner.
So I understand that the part-time salary, basically same thing with the sheriff's office, the refuse control needs the funds for the part-time positions for the employees because they're out. Great. My question is, what exactly are the sanitation fees?
Waste management, the big garbage disposal units that are in a lot of the buildings and spaces around the county.
Okay. Is a possibility we can increase the tipping fees with that too to help with this department?
I am not sure. This is not the landfill per se. This is
Okay.
waste management.
Okay.
A contract that goes through
Okay.
refuse control.
Yes, Madam Commissioner. So no, that would not impact, the tipping fees would not have any impact here. The sanitation fees are in instances where there has been a larger disposal need for refuse control. So the expense along with additional employees has gone up. Hence is why the budget amendment is being asked.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, any other questions at this time? Are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Next is item 21, Budget Amendment 2-34. Ms. Merritt, or Ms. Angela.
Budget Amendment 2-34 in the amount of $625,000 appropriates funds for repair and maintenance on buildings and other contracts for the remainder of fiscal year 2025.
All right, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
I second it. All right, are there any questions at this time?
Yes. Oh, okay. 2 questions for you. Easy questions, I promise.
Commissioners, Madam Chair.
Hi. What are the other contracts?
The contracts for building maintenance?
Yes, it says under other contracts in
Contracts,
here.
the pool maintenance, the fire alarm.
Oh, correct. We got fire alarm, elevators,
Sprinklers.
chemical treatment for closed loop chiller systems, elevators. Man, my brain went blank.
Extinguishers.
Fire extinguishers, fire suppression, fire alarms.
Sprinkler maintenance.
Yes. didn't bring that with me, but correct.
Okay, is this different from when we approved the fire panels and stuff at the justice system, or this for a different building?
That was corrective maintenance. This is our base contracts for services.
Okay, and then my next question is, are these like new repairs that's like recently? Because my question is, how can I say? My question is, are these new repairs? Or is this something we could put in the budget for the next fiscal year versus
these are
hitting
not-
the fund balance?
These are not new repairs.
Okay.
These are correct.
So Commissioner, I may can clarify. So when Defects pays us their monthly.
Oh, no, not defects, this building and maintenance.
Are you sure?
This is
Mhm.
the maintenance budget limit.
But you said this was for corrective maintenance, correct?
The fire, the
Yeah, yeah.
ACOM
Mhm.
for the fire alarm at the Justice Complex is corrective maintenance at this
Okay.
time. We had lightning that struck and took out the main panel board for that facility.
No, so I'm asking is, when I mentioned the fire panels that hit the fund balance, I was asking, is this different from what we're doing now? Is this in addition to what we voted for earlier this year?
That is different.
Okay, that
What
was my
already
question.
voted on, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
That's all, thank you.
All right, any other questions at this time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which buildings are these inclusive of? Or is it just wide, county-wide buildings?
All county-owned
General?
facilities. Okay. Yes, sir. Okay.
All right, any other questions at this time? Are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Number 22, Budget Amendment 2-35, FY 25, Other General Government.
Budget Amendment 2-35 in the amount of $219,481 appropriates funds from school bus traffic fine revenue to the related expense account.
All right, can I get a motion at this time, board members?
So moved.
All right, I second the motion. Any discussion at this time?
Yes, I have a question.
All right, Commissioner.
Where do those funds go?
60% goes to the company that's handling the school bus traffic fines, and 20% goes to the school board, and then the county keeps 20%.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, the difference between the counties and school.
Mhm.
Okay, so these are just the ones in Clayton County, right? Because I know
Yes.
some of those things are Riverdale, Jonesboro, and all. So
Yes,
these-
it's on the school, well, it's on the school buses. There's
Oh,
a camera on
okay.
the school buses, and so if someone passes illegally
Right.
and they receive a fine in the mail, then that's part of this.
The ones that went up to $1,000.
Oh, yeah,
My
they
those
did go
fines?
up.
It did go up, yes.
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
call on that. All right, thank you.
Any other questions at this time? Are you ready for the vote, board members? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Item 33, Resolution 2025-76.
Resolution 2025-76 is a resolution to establish Clayton County as a Purple Heart County, to authorize the chairwoman to perform all acts necessary to accomplish the intent of this resolution, to authorize the chief financial officer to amend the budget to reflect an appropriate revenue source and expenses may be required, to provide an effective date of this resolution for other purposes.
I need a motion.
So moved.
All right, I second the motion. Any questions at this time?
Yes.
Mhm.
What determines a designation? Is it something we need to do or something that we have done?
So my understanding is back in, I think it was 2024, there was a proclamation that was done, but at the time there was not a accompanying resolution that authorized various designations of various symbols to be put throughout the county. So there was a presentation, I believe, that
Representative
was.
Burnett did.
I
Also.
don't know if it was. It may
was-
have been. but-
Burnett did it in College Park. She went around to all of the, I know she went around to College Park and then she gave the Purple Heart there. And then they were asking then, I think, she asked then and some of the war heroes if we could be designated as a Purple Heart County.
But I believe at that particular meeting, there was another gentleman who came and actually presented, and there was a photograph taken. But the short version is that was just a proclamation.
Right.
There was no board action that was done as a part of that proclamation to carry out the designation. So that's what this does. It's just cleaning that up so that everything can be done that actually sets the county as a Purple Heart County, other than just doing the proclamation. Does that make sense? No? Yes?
I mean, did we do something? Or
Well, I was under the impression that we were already designated as a Purple Heart community. The whole, what needed to take place now was just for the signage to be created and placed.
That's what I was, that's the same thing.
Yes.
So is
That's
this
the
for the
long answer.
signage, more or less?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's what we're
Yeah.
doing tonight.
Okay, you all are writing these things like they do at the state, like, for elections, you know. But
Are there any other questions at this time?
And I think, just to clarify, that the proclamation did it, but there was no action that
By
this
the
board
board.
gave to do all of the rest, which is what this resolution does.
Correct.
And again, Representative Bruno, as well as the, one of the gentlemen had asked that we actually designate it and then have a sign throughout the county that we are a Purple Heart County.
Yeah, signs.
Signage.
Yes,
Actually,
there you go,
signage.
there you go.
Just put on your signage.
Yeah, signage. All right, any more questions at this time? All right, are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. All right, next is 34.
Resolution 2025-77 is a resolution to initiate the rezoning and future land use map amendment of certain parcels located at 1730 East Pleasant Hill Road to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes.
All right. Okay. Is that in zoning?
No, this is the initiation.
Okay.
Is that, well, did you get?
Just go.
Let him, he'll tell.
Yeah, he's gonna talk, okay.
So is there gonna be a motion?
Okay, I need a motion at this time.
No, so move.
All right, I second it. All right, and Mr. GK?
Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners, good evening. And this is the site of the new North Clayton High School.
Okay.
And they have 3 parcels that are in different land use and zonings. All we're doing is to clean up our zoning map.
Okay, good, okay. All right, are there any questions at this time, board members?
No. It was answered. Thank
I
you.
know.
I'm lost. Is this a zoning matter that we're
It's
talking
just
about? Or this
No.
is just?
Do initiate.
So there's a 2-step process when you
Okay.
don't have, when an applicant is initiating a zoning, they come in and fill out the application. When the board does it, you all have to pass a resolution to start the process so that it comes back to you all for zoning in approximately 2 months.
All right, are you ready for the vote?
I
All in
have
favor,
a
say
follow, I
aye.
have a follow-up question for Attorney Reed. Just in regards to the, the question that Commissioner Davis had about whether or not this is a zoning issue. Is it typical for resolutions regarding initiating this process to be put on the consent agenda?
It can go on regular agenda or consent. A lot of times, it's something that this board has already decided that they wanted to do from a policy standpoint, but it has been on both.
Thank you.
All right, are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Next is the discussion item, the Delta Foundation funding. Commissioner DeMont Davis.
Yes, the whole goal of this is to begin to seek some clarity. We've gotten many comments from citizens, from our some members of our state delegation, as well as our mayors and city councilmen. And so what we need is some clarity here. We're put in charge, this BOC of this county, to serve in a diligent and timely manner. And we have learned about this accord and briefings, not here from this dais or in the boardroom, but from the media and from those public unveilings. And so a couple of questions that we want to know are, first of all, when did these discussions originate?
All right, so I will answer those questions. First of all, as I transition in, before I came in as chair, they were originating with our former chair, Mr. Jeffrey Turner. Also, they were working with Delta, the Delta Foundation was working with Senator Warnock, as well as Nakima, and some of our other entities and leaders within the county. They chose to do that. There is no agreement between the county and Delta and the Delta entity, so there is no need for the board or anyone from this board to vote on anything. Everything that went through Delta is through their foundation, and Delta decided to give the money to Clayton County because we know that we are not getting our jet fuel tax. However, they decided out of goodwill to give the money, and they came up with the $16.5 million. It's a 5-year support plan, and it will be given over a period of time to our cities, and part of the support plan will also, let's say, for instance, if we want to be a part of it as a county, what we would have to do is go through the foundation. The foundation was set up by Delta as part of the plan. And if we want to get money, we would have to go through through the foundation, put in our application as well, and then that will help. But again, Clayton County, again, has nothing to do, there's no agreement, there's nothing to do with the plan between Delta. They are doing this out of the kindness of their hearts to make up for the jet fuel tax.
So if...
That's what they're saying. Because we're not getting it.
Correct. And supposedly this has nothing to do with the jet fuel tax.
Mm-hmm.
Jet fuel tax, the suspension of that jet fuel tax was done, I believe, 2014?
Yes.
So we have basically lost well over $100 million into this county.
Mm-hmm.
And so $16 million coming to a foundation which does not benefit the county nor the cities, I have an issue with. And I guess if two parties have gotten together to speak on anything, there is and the parties have left saying we're giving, there is some type of agreement, whether that is verbal or nonverbal. So that's the other part of it. So the other part of this is, who was in these discussions, since it's not an agreement? Was our legal in the discussions? Was our COO in discussions? Who was in these discussions?
So again, there was no agreement. Delta decided to give this money through their foundation. During the discussions, again, you asked me the question, and I told you that our former chairman was in those discussions, as well as the county leaders. Now, there was a point in time that Delta had talked with us, and Delta was talking through our county leaders, and there was supposed to be, I want to say, probably $25 million given, but they decided not to go that route. And they decided to go with the $16.5 million that they are doing through their foundation. Legal is not involved in this. Legal I actually talked with Delta just as we did the other day. And they broke it down and they said that, again, even though we are missing that money, the jet fuel tax is a separate issue. If we as a board want to go after the jet fuel tax, then we still can do that. Delta is not saying, hey, because we're giving you this money, that you can't go after the jet fuel tax. We still can go after the jet fuel tax. And when it comes up, were you going to say something, Mr.? And when it comes up, if this board chooses to do so, then we can proceed and do that. But anything else, this is a good faith effort by Delta. Also, Delta has also said that our nonprofits, they have it set up where they can go in and sort of like our community block grants, and they can go in and actually ask for money as well. So again, this is a good faith effort on their part. This has nothing to do with the jet fuel tax. Those are two separate issues. So nobody negotiated anything. This is something that they decided to do. And the breakdown is there is no agreement, I'm going to say this again, or negotiation. This or any other person can bind, or the county or bind any governmental entities on the jet fuel taxes. This arrangement is not a payment in lieu of taxes, as it is Delta's position that they do not owe any taxes on jet fuel at this time. Now, they're saying this. $5 million will go to Clayton County Public Schools Foundation for the Junior Achievement Discovery Center and Education Initiatives. Another $5 million will go also to Junior Achievement of Georgia for the Clayton County Junior Achievement Discovery Center again. 2.5 will go to Middle Georgia State University School of Aviation for scholarships for CCPS students. $1 million will go to the Flint River Boys and Girls Club. $1 million in investments in workforce development resources through the Clayton County Chamber. $1 million increased investment in Aerotropolis to improve regional economic competitiveness. And lastly, $1 million to establish a donor-advised fund at the Community Foundation of the Clayton County Nonprofit Support. So again, there is no binding contract. Legal did not have to come in and talk about anything. That is what Delta has decided to do, and that is what they have put on the table. This does not stop us from going after the jet fuel tax or anything else.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Let me have one more. But I hear all these millions going to, but $0 going to City of
It's over
Riverdale.
5 years.
$0 going to City of Jonesboro. $0 going to Lake City. $0 going to Morrow. $0 going to Lovejoy. And I don't know who else I've left out. But $0 coming to Clayton County. Now, we do have a foundation here. We do have a foundation, which could have been. So, for me, I find it a little disheartening that we would go speak to anybody on behalf of what's coming into the county without taking our legal representation with us.
So I'm going to say this also. When we talked about $0, as I stated before, we can go in and we can ask for things through the Atlanta Foundation that they established. But what this board has to remember is, I don't think we can't forget about things such as the Roman United and the African Children's Fund, when this board did not appropriate funds where they needed to go. And so I'm just going to be very transparent to the board and the public. Everybody's looking at us. And as you're saying, $0 are not going here, $0 are not going there, that is not true. If we go and ask for those dollars to go for workforce development, we can, but we have to go through their foundation. But we have to show a goodwill effort as well, that we know how to take tax dollars and use them what they're supposed to be used for, versus us giving them away to Roman United and African Children's Fund for $559,000. That's the bottom line.
But transparency is finding out something on county letterhead with my name attached and everybody else's name attached on this board, saying this is what's happening, to make it appear to the citizens that we have approved of this agreement or whatever Delta's given us out of the kindness of their hearts, is giving our county. That's not transparency.
You didn't receive anything on county letterhead. What you got was a breakdown, Mr. Davis, of what Delta was giving us.
What I received.
And you got the same thing that I got. And that was what you received. You received the breakdown of what Delta was giving us, just as I did. And so again, I didn't accept anything for this county. For this board. I accepted. I said that I thanked them for what they did for the county, and that was it.
Well, I don't see any transparency in that.
Well,
We get it at the same time
it wasn't
that
about
the citizens
transparency,
get it.
because,
Well,
Mr. Davis,
I
you
would
don't
think
even
the
answer the
county-
phone when I call you.
You've
You
not
want to talk
called
about
me.
transparency.
You've not called me.
When it's time for us to talk, you don't
You've
even
not
do what
called
you're
me.
supposed to do, Mr.
So let's
Davis.
keep it to right here
So
on
don't
this.
talk about transparency. If you want to be a part of the process or anything, all you have to do is work with me.
Oh, well,
And
then
you have
try
not
calling
done
or
that.
emailing.
And
So-
you have not done that.
So the whole thing is
So
with
again, I'm going to move forward.
Excuse me.
with transparency goes, we
Thank you.
must, whatever this Delta agreement is, should have been presented
There's not an
to
agreement.
the board before this was initiated.
This was not an
or
agreement.
brought to the
There
citizens
is
of the
no
county.
agreement, and we need to make that very clear. There is no agreement between Delta and this board. There is no agreement. So if there's no agreement to bring forward, there's no agreement at all.
Excuse me. May I speak?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, please, you all please don't holler out at this time. Board members?
It was a couple things. One is, this amount of money that you're saying, this is over a period of time, right?
Yes.
So
Yes,
it's not like this is what they're giving us this year, next year,
And it's not-
out of the kindness of their heart.
Yeah.
But they sit in Clayton County.
Yeah.
Who is on the, you said the county leaders? That's what I'm trying to, who were the county leaders?
Some of the county leaders were our former chairman, Jeffrey Turner. I think Representative Bernot was in there as well. We also had Congresswoman Nakima Williams. We got statements also from Senator Warnock. So those were the county leaders that Delta worked with. All right. Mr. Garber, thank you. All right.
Chairwoman? I have a few questions.
Yes.
So, actually, I think I have a question for our attorney. Can I? Because I heard in the chairwoman's statement that this is not a legally binding agreement. This is not an agreement. But I'm curious if legal wasn't involved at any point during these conversations. How can we be sure that this conversation or agreement doesn't preclude the county or entities in the county from pursuing further action with Delta?
The short answer is because there's no binding agreement. So if there was an agreement between the county and Delta that said, let's say, we're giving you X amount of dollars, and in exchange for that, you're agreeing you're waiving all claims or something along those lines, then you could say, well, now we're drawing back on that agreement, so you cannot go after us for whatever claims you think you have. Well, there is no agreement between the county and Delta. There is nothing that this board has approved. I'm not aware of any contract that has been signed between the Delta or any foundation and any representative here on the board.
So what is Clayton County's role? Like, what is the county's role in any of these conversations? Because to Commissioner Davis's part, there was a press statement that was a press release that was put out on Clayton County letterhead that had the full listing of all the board members making this announcement. So my follow-up question is, what is Clayton County's involvement in any of this process?
To my understanding, there have been agreements made between the Delta Foundation and I want to say this various nonprofits. They already have executed agreements between Delta and those persons. Again, I am not aware of any agreement that Delta has with Clayton County or with any 501c3 associated with Clayton County.
Did the county recommend any of these nonprofits that are on the list? I'm trying to understand what is the county's involvement in any of this process.
So what Delta's going to do is they're going to come in and speak with each commissioner. And so if there are any nonprofits within the county that would like to apply for any of these grant monies, they would have to go through a foundation. It's a foundation within Atlanta. And this foundation is going to divvy out that money. Also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Reed, when we met with them the other day, if there's anything that the county would like to do as far as workforce development, well, we would still have to go to that foundation as well.
My understanding is that the foundation cannot give money directly to the county.
But a foundation associated with the county?
Perhaps, but but really any funding would be limited to 501c3s.
Because the Delta Foundation is a 501c3. So the only thing that they can do is they cannot give money directly to the county. They have to give it to another 501c3. Are there any other questions at this time?
Yes, and maybe I missed it, but when did all this take place? When were the transactions made, or discussions, or meetings?
Well, I know the school system already has their money, as well as the chamber has already obtained their money as well.
When were the meetings held?
I have no idea. You have to, when you meet with the Delta representative, she should.
I
met with them, but I don't know when they actually, the dates of the meetings and things of that nature. Now, I met with them as I was coming in, as I was transitioning in, and that was back in November. And they told me of the monies that were coming in. And then we had meetings, we talked with Warnock's office as well, and we talked with Delta the other day as well. And that's when they said they were gonna meet with each commissioner, break down what we can do, and how those monies can be put through, possibly through other nonprofits, or sort of like set up like block grants as well. But again, this is not, this has nothing to do with the jet fuel tax. We can still, whatever we want to do as a board, we can still continue on with that. Are there any other questions at this time? All right, thank you.
Madam Chair, next on the agenda is item number 36.
Item 36 is ordinance 2025-73, which is an ordinance to amend the Code of Clayton County as amended, specifically to amend Part 1 related laws pertaining to Clayton County, Chapter 2 Administration, Article 2 Board of Commissioners, Section 2-35 Agenda, Duties of the Presiding Officer, Minutes, Quorum, Public Comment, Section 2-31-01 Agenda, to repeal any and all conflicting laws, ordinances, resolutions, rules, and regulations, to provide for severability, to provide an effective date of this ordinance, and for other purposes.
All right, board members, I need a motion for ordinance 2025-73.
So moved.
All right, I second that motion. Any discussion at this time?
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Reeves.
I wanted to add, and everyone, all the commissioners should have a copy of the resolution, but I wanted to make some changes. I realize, Attorney Reed, that will mean that we'll need to revise this before it's signed. Under the first section on, if you have it printed, it's on the third page, 8-36A. Under, all right. So, section 1, third paragraph, third subparagraph, item C. So it says, all department heads and elected officials shall provide supporting documents for each item to be considered. Oh, this is on in regards to special called meeting. I wanted to make an addition that allowed for a contingency plan, or if there's a delay in posting the agenda online, what does that process look like? And I want to make sure that we have that codified into this ordinance.
So you're saying that you want to codify.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's subsection A.
So
Sorry, subsection B was on special called.
Okay, A3, you're saying?
It's on the first page, sorry. So under preparation of the agenda for regular monthly meetings, all items that are intended to be considered at regular monthly meetings of the Board of Commissioners must be submitted to the clerk. Oh, my pages are out of order, that's why. Here we go.
About the close of business on the Wednesday before the next regular monthly meeting?
Yes, that is correct. So it says, nothing in the subsection shall preclude the clerk from posting the agenda on the county's website or on any available electronic media suitable for viewing by the general public. And I wanted to make sure that we add, if there is a delay in posting, that there will be an announcement made on the county website.
Okay, so. Okay, I have some ideas. So you want to put something in there that says something along the lines of, if the clerk is unable to post the agenda by the close of business Friday before the meeting, that that the clerk shall post something to that effect on the board or something like that.
Clerk or designee
Right,
will
correct.
make it a posting.
Okay, and do you want that on every, because there are certain deadlines for special called meetings as well as for what's considered special circumstances meeting? You want that same language on each of those?
Yes, please.
Okay, anything else?
All right, I hope my pages are in order. Okay. In addition to items, in addition to the agenda and supporting documents being made available to the full board by close of business on Friday, I think it might be helpful, and I believe my other commissioners would agree, to have the opportunity to review the agenda before, the final agenda before it's released to the public.
Commissioner,
Can I
Commissioner
make
Davis?
yes? Can I make a suggestion
Mhm.
that we handle item 36 possibly in a work session?
Yeah.
To begin to discuss, as we can review that entire ordinance in full.
Can we discuss it? It's on the agenda that was
Correct.
provided.
But I've not looked at anything on this, so this is all kind of new to me with that, to begin to understand the changes that want to be facilitated within this.
So we can table this until
I'm just
the
thinking
the
to
first
have
May
it
meeting?
maybe the work session.
The work
to begin to
session.
go through this, to make the changes and begin to understand where you're trying to go with this.
Attorney Reed, would you be able to provide a presentation for the next work session? on this?
Absolutely.
So that will be May 13th,
Yes.
because I think it's some other things we need to
But
talk
it's-
about.
it's
as far
our-
as
We
the
have a
meetings too.
Commissioner
motion
Reeves' call.
We have a motion on the floor, so.
Right,
Well, I mean, I've suggested, I didn't make a motion.
correct.
I kind of want, but that's, Commissioner Reeves, so I was just suggesting that, if you'd make the motion to do
To
that.
table it.
I'll withdraw my motion from the floor and ask for this item to be discussed at the May 13th working session, and then put on the agenda for the third Tuesday meeting for a
May
vote.
20th. May 20th.
May 20th.
So that table is what date?
Table to May 13th.
May 13th.
Do you want to separate?
Table for a vote until the May 20th meeting, and add it to the working session agenda for the May 13th meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, please cut off any audio devices, any cell phones. Thank you.
So is that a dual motion? So you're doing table to 20 and also to add to the 13th, okay?
Okay. So
So is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, what are you seconding? Is with the motion to add it to the 13th, so we can talk about it at the work session and then vote on it on the 20th. Y'all good with that? All right. So I can go on and take it to a vote.
Mhm.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, and the ayes have it, and the motion passes.
Item 37 is Resolution 2025-75, which is a resolution to adopt a policy of open initial budget request meetings in preparation for adoption of the county's annual budget, to authorize the Budget Committee to perform all acts necessary to carry out the intent of this resolution, to provide an effective date of this resolution and for other purposes.
Can I get a motion?
So
at this
moved.
time? All right, can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Is there any discussion, ladies and gentlemen? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. All right, next is 38, the board appointment. You gonna read that for me, Chuck? I'm sorry. Next is 38, the board appointment for the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority Citizens Advisory Board. Christopher Foster's term of the MARTA CAB will expire on April 6, 2025. The new term is for 2 years, expiring on April 6, 2027. At this time, I would like to appoint Ms. Dr. Monica Hooker to the MARTA Advisory Board. Let me get a second.
Second.
All right, is there any discussion at this time? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Next is item 39, board appointment to the Solid Waste Authority. Councilwoman Marcy Ann Carp's term on the Solid Waste Authority, Management Authority expired on December 31st, 2024. The new term is for 4 years, expiring on December 31st, 2028. That is the chair's appointment, and at this time, I would like to appoint Mayor Marcy Flew-Ellen to the Solid Waste Management Authority Board. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Is there any discussion at this time? All right, are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Next is BOC 2411-042 REZ rezoning.
While Mr. McSwain is setting up, I want to go ahead and speak on the rules of the zoning hearings. Citizens may speak for or against an item that is considered by law to be a zoning decision, and each side will have 10 minutes. In the event there is more than one speaker per side, speakers must divide their time in order to complete their full presentation within the 10 minutes. When time runs out, speakers will be expected to cease speaking and leave the podium area. Citizens speaking in favor of an item shall speak first. Applicants in zoning cases shall have the right to reserve time for rebuttal. Opponents of a zoning decision item shall have no right of rebuttal. When speaking, please remember to speak directly into the microphone and state your name, address, and name of any organization you represent. Please remember that abusive and derogatory language will not be permitted.
All right, is the consultant ready? All right.
Good evening, Madam Chairman and board members, commissioners. My name is Tyler McSwain. I am the zoning administrator for the Community Development Department, representing staff for this matter. This petition, I'll read it for the record again. This is BOC 2411-0462, rezoning case for properties located on Connie Circle in Rex, Georgia. This request is from a rezoning from RS 110 to RS 180 for 5 single-family detached homes. This is within Commissioner District 1. These properties are also located within the Highway 42 overlay. The first reading for this item was provided to this board at the last Board of Commissioners hearing in March. The applicant agreed to table this request to this particular hearing. So we're now hearing this request again. As mentioned, that this request was motioned that we recommended approval of the rezoning request with conditions. The zoning advisory group also forwarded over a recommendation as well. That was approval with conditions, and on March 3rd, ZAG was approval with conditions as well. And I'll read those conditions again for the record for those. Condition number 1. The rezoning must be recorded as revised Pine Brook Heights subdivision, phase 2, and cite the original plat book and page. Condition number 2, covered patios are required. Condition number 3, all homes must have 50% brick front with a water table on the side, masonry materials. Condition number 4, 4-sided brick would be an option for home buyers. And condition number 5, 4 sides of yards must be sodded. Those are the conditions that have been forwarded over to this board for consideration. I'll be happy to answer any questions that the board may have for me. And the applicant is here.
The applicant is here. Okay, will the applicant please come forward?
Good evening, Madam Chair,
Good
Madam
evening.
Vice Chair, Commissioners and citizens. My name is Christian Tarazona. I'm here with Daniel Castro from Dunwoody, Georgia, and we represent Coney Development, which is the company that is looking to
District
develop.
All right, and very good. And how much of the 10 minutes do you want to reserve for your rebuttal at this time?
Just, I mean, whatever is necessary or whatever you allow us to.
Do 4 or 5 minutes? I mean,
Yeah, 5 minutes.
help them out,
should
Chuck.
be-
Help
yeah,
them out.
that should be fine. Yeah.
2, 3 minutes?
3 minutes. I
Three,
think
okay,
would be fine.
3 minutes, okay. All right. All right, so you want to reserve 2 minutes, 3 minutes for rebuttal?
minutes.
Okay. All right, y'all can begin.
So basically, this project is intended, as the staff has manifested, we're intended to build single-family homes, 6 single-family homes in this property. All of them are going to be on a slab, right?
Yes.
And we agree to all the conditions requested by technical committee. So we consider that this is going to improve the neighborhood substantially because it's like we said, it's one area that is not developed right now. The rest of the neighborhood has been developed, and we think that it's gonna provide affordable, and good quality housing for the area.
So pretty much this is one lot. It was 3 different lots. We already combined all 3 into one lot. Now the next step will be to subdivide it into 5 or 6 lots. We were trying to do sewer. Unfortunately, due to the topography and the gravity of the lot, we were not able to do that. That is the reason why we asking for the rezoning. Currently, the lot is in RS 110, which require sewer. So in order for us to do the project, we need to change the zoning to RS 180, which will allow us to do septic systems. So here you can see, if Tyler can just show a little bit about the homes or.
The renderings.
Nice.
So that's the type of renderings of homes that we're planning to build.
It's 2-story homes, as we described, a combination of hardy plank and brick.
It will be around 28 to 3,200 square feet, around 4 bedrooms, 2 to 3 bathrooms on a slab.
And covered patios. Any questions?
Yes. Can you discuss in further detail about the decision to build these 5 houses on septic versus attaching them to the sewer line?
Yes.
Like I said, we did several studies, and actually our first option was sewer. That unfortunately we don't have the gravity to get the sewer connected to the main hall on Highway 42.
How do you mean? You said you don't have the gravity for the attachment.
Because there's not enough slope. So there's the main hall that is right behind the Dollar Tree.
Right
in front of the Dollar Tree. It is not deep enough for us to get enough gravity from the lot because it's around 1,500 linear feet. So the gravity is going to be less than required by code.
Basically, the lot has a V-shaped type of geography where it's crossed by a creek, so that stops you from basically being able to extend the line with the gravity to connect to the main hall.
We try. Like I said, we explored that option. We talked to DOT. We talked with Clayton Water, and even though for us, what we were trying to do, because we were able to do 9 homes instead of 5 because of the frontage that was required for RS 110. Like I said, I mean, we tried as much as we could, but it wasn't feasible.
So when we met last week, in our last meeting, there was a discussion around the sidewalks. Can you, I know you all are requesting a variance to increase the number of lots from 5 to 6.
We haven't requested that yet. So right now we are just looking to get the 5 lots. If that's approved, and then we'll seek to, that is lot number 2, that we probably request a variance to reduce the frontage to obtain the 6 lot.
And I know there's a requirement for sidewalks along Connie Circle, which is just where your cursor is, and also on
all the way
Ronnie Drive.
Correct. Yes.
And those sidewalks don't connect to
Anything.
Highway 42?
No. There will be just sidewalks just for pretty much those homes. That will be it.
For the Pine Brook neighborhood?
For those?
Yeah, I mean, for the private, but yeah, but mainly it's gonna be just across from that for home, but yes. Any other questions?
My other questions are for staff around the number of, I'm not sure if it's for Tyler or for Cheryl, but it's around can you give some percentages of how many houses and how many developments in Clayton County that are in residential areas with other homes are also on septic?
We can certainly find a means of finding that information, but when you look at the subdivision like Pine Brook, the one that's adjacent to it, these are older and established subdivisions that were developed under requirements where they're on septic. The RS 110, which they're currently zoned now, requires them to be on sewer. So any new development that comes under RS 110 will have to comply and have sewer connectivity where feasible. But there are existing subdivisions that are in Clayton County that were developed on sewer that are, on septic, that may be a smaller residential zoning district like RS 110.
Can you provide further explanation on why there are carve-outs for certain developments to be built on septic? Because, you know, I've talked with folks who have septic tanks on their property, and that is a burden on, that is an additional cost for those residents and for those individual property owners for the maintenance of the septic tanks, of the lines, of removal, and looking at the nearby housing that has available access to sewer. And I understand the topography of this particular parcel. But can you discuss those options? I hope that was clear.
So, Mr. Reed, their time is up, so they can still want to discuss.
Their time isn't up. Actually, it should have been allowed for people to speak in favor during this time.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So
yeah,
they can continue to.
So they can continue. That's what I was going to ask you. Was it time to ask for the people to speak in favor or against?
No, they can continue to go, and then once the commissioner is done, then I think if there's any people to speak in favor.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Commissioner Reeves, if I understand your question, why are there carve-outs for zoning parcel? It's not that they carve out. To have a septic tank, you have to have enough land for the drain fields. So the RS 110 is a smaller lot than the 180. So it's difficult to put in the required drain field for the septic. So, and also when the county developed some time ago, I'm not sure the sewer lines extended. That's all over the place. So you have some properties that developed some time ago that were on septic. So that's the lot size has something to do with septic or sewer. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions at this time? You got any other questions?
I don't have any other questions.
All right. You all may be seated. Is there anyone who is here that would like to speak in favor of this item? You come on up, and then. I'll let you come next. Okay.
Henry Anderson, District 3 constituent and resident, unincorporated Clayton County, Hampton, Georgia. I speak in favor because this is residential and it's going from RS 110 to RS 180. And to let you know, evaluation processes will have already been started concerning the townhomes. And because if voted on, which it should be voted on because it's residential, and from what I've heard, all stipulations have been met, that will put you all in the success category in the green folder. As you can see, Elena Reeves had a success in January when she disapproved the townhome because this is residential is what this county needs. And you won't be in the red folder, which is a failure folder. So evaluation processes have already begun. So I hope you will, Madam Vice Chair and Commissioner 1, District 1 Commissioner Ms. Elena Reeves, you will approve this project. And if doing so, you will be in the success folder and not in the red folder. Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this item? What, someone is behind you, Mr. Garber.
Good evening, Chairwoman and Ms. Reeves. I live at 5844. My name is Georgia Clark. I live at 5844 Ronnie Drive. Is anyone else in this audience in
Ma'am,
Pine Brook?
ma'am, direct your questions.
Okay. Is anyone else in the audience that's with Pine Brook Heights? Okay, the septic tank issue. I know about the septic tank. Okay, it's good and it's bad. Okay, now they're telling me, are they gonna put sidewalks in our neighborhood?
Can I answer? It's just along Connie Circle
He mentioned
in front
Ronnie
of.
Drive. Yeah, he mentioned Ronnie Drive. So he's just gonna do Connie Drive, Connie Circle.
Connie Circle, and it's, Ronnie Drive is building plot 1. Yeah. So at that, so you come in Connie Circle, you know your neighborhood.
I know
You
my
come
neighborhood.
down, it curves, and then it makes that right, like you're headed back out to Rex Road, like you're going up, yeah.
So he's not doing any improvements for our neighborhood? You're coming in with new houses. So what are you gonna do for our neighborhood?
That's a great question.
Yes. If you're gonna approve it, make sure he does something for our neighborhood.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. All right, next, Mr. Garber.
Madam Clerk, Mickey Garber, unincorporated, Rex, Georgia. Yes, I want you to listen to everything I say here. Yes, I'm in favor of new houses. I heard him say 5 or 6 houses. We need to get that clarified. It needs to be 5 houses on less land. That's in order for the septic to have more drain fill on each property. Now, there's a reverse to this, is if we're gonna move Clayton County forward, we can't allow one home owner to bring down everything, to create a health hazard for everyone in the neighborhood. If it's on septic, then that comes under the water department, and they have to get right on getting it fixed. When it falls on the homeowner, they get to do it on their time. That is the dilemma that you're facing and these gentlemen are facing. I'm here not to say I'm totally in favor. I'm not here, you don't have a space for anybody like me that is in the middle. And we have to get clarified. If we're going to be on septic, it can't be any more than 5. If we're to move the county forward, we have to get rid of this septic tank situation and get on a sewer situation where sewage can be cleaned up. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in favor of this item? One more time, is there anyone else in favor of this item? Next, is there anyone here in opposition of this item? If so, please come up to the podium and state your name and county of residence. Again, is there anyone here in opposition of this item? Thank you. All right. Will the applicant please come up? Would you like time for your rebuttal? And please set the timer. All right.
Yes, just to clarify the last comment of the gentleman, if we are looking to do the 6 lot, we are still going to comply with the 25,000 square foot lot for the septic that the health department requires. The variance will be to reduce the frontage of 1 lot, but we will have the 25,000 square foot lot requirement, which is for primary and secondary lines. If primary lines break, so they have to do a replacement in the future. So that was my first. Second comment for the lady was, I mean, the improvement to the neighborhood will be property values. Second, if we do the sidewalk, we're gonna do the sidewalk through that section, which is gonna be an improvement for the neighborhood. Even though it's going to be on that strip of land, it will improve the neighborhood as well. And lastly, just for the record, all those homes in that older subdivision are now septic. So notice that nothing is in sewer in that area, so we're just complying with what it is right now. That's pretty much my comments.
Yeah, and I would just like to say that we have been in this process for 1.5 years, working with every single department, making sure not only before we are in front of you, the committee, we have been working with transportation, we have been working with the water department, we have been working with different functions within the county, making sure that we comply with all the requirements. So everything that you see here, we are not asking for a special treatment or, like make a big exception. Everything that is here, every single lot here is based on the requirements that the county has and the technical committee supported. We actually went above, whatever they requested in terms of, how the homes need to be built and the type of materials and all that to make sure that we comply with everything that we are being required, right? So we understand some of the concerns and we think that we are addressing those concerns. I mean, the rule is it's in the books in terms of, what it's allowed in sewer, what is not allowed in sewer. We are complying with the rules right now. And none, as Daniel said, none of the other homes in the neighborhood are connected to the sewer system right now. So the lots are big enough to comply with the technical requirements, and we are going to use the technology that is, we provided all technology that is going to be used for the septic tanks, and that's why we're requesting what we're requesting. Yeah.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. At this time, Commissioner Reeves, what is your pleasure?
Oh, actually, I had one more question. This is more for clarification.
Sure.
Just for the visuals, I know that we're looking at the map, but for any who were questioning, the front of the homes will be facing towards County Drive and not along Highway 42.
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
Thanks. Told you it was fast. So on BOC-2411-0462, I recommend approval.
With the conditions.
With the
With
conditions from the ZAG and staff.
All right. Would you like those conditions stated, or are you good? Did you want to?
I don't need
You're
them
good,
stated, but
okay.
I just want to make sure they're included in the motion.
All right. Can we get a second?
Second.
Is there any more discussion at this time? Are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right, next is item 41 and 42. They're both withdrawals. Mr. Reed, how can we proceed? Are they withdrawals, correct?
That's
All
correct.
right.
So I'll go ahead and read them back to back, and I'm sure that you all would be able to vote to accept or not accept that withdrawal.
Okay.
So item number 41, that's BOC 2502-0481. That's the future land use map amendment for a property located at 6368 Highway 42 in Rex, Georgia. That request was for a land use map amendment, from agriculture to medium density residential for a 49 home attached home development. That was a flume. That request was withdrawn by the applicant, and that was forwarded to the ZAG, who accepted that withdrawal, and that is coming before you. And also to note that the associated case number 42, BOC 2502-0480, is the companion rezoning request for the same property mentioned, and that request is from agriculture to single-family residential attached townhome for, again, 49 single-family attached townhomes. And again, that motion was for recommendation for you all to accept the withdrawal from the applicant. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board may have for staff.
Any questions at this time, board members? No questions. All right, I need a motion to accept the withdrawal for BOC 2502-0481.
You can do both of them.
Can we do?
I can do them together, okay. And BOC 2502-0480.
So moved.
All right, I second it. Is there any discussion at this time? Are you ready for the question or the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Next is item 43.
All right. Item 43 is BOC 2501-0474. This is a future land use map amendment for property located at 6115 West Fayetteville Road and 1821 Creel Drive in Atlanta, Georgia 30349, unincorporated Clayton County. The request is from low density residential to medium density residential for the development of 114 single-family attached townhomes. This request, again, we're showing the site plan that's associated with this. The zoning and the future land use for this particular area, staff did review over the existing land uses and subdivisions that were within a quarter mile from our planning team. With consideration, we have found that the request it is within the comprehensive plans, policies, and in alignment with the existing neighborhoods in the area. So the planning and zoning consultants recommended approval, and the zone advisory group on March the 3rd, March 31st, recommended denial of the applicant's request. And again, this is for the flume, and the companion rezoning will follow after this particular reading. But the applicant is also here to present, and I'll be happy to answer any questions regarding this petition as well.
All right, any questions at this time? All right, would the applicant please come forward? How much of the 10 minutes do you want to reserve for your rebuttal?
Let's do 4 minutes, please. Good evening, Madam Chairman, board members. My name is George Harper.
Please set the time. Make sure they set the time set. All right, thank you.
Are we ready? Okay. Good evening. My name is George Harper, Paramount Engineering, 11 East Broad Street, Newnan, Georgia. I'm representing the developers of this project tonight. As Tyler pointed out, this is proposed to be a 114-unit single-family attached townhome development located at the corner of Creel Road and West Fayetteville Road. So this project, I think, maybe kind of look a little familiar to some of you that's been on the board a little while. It's been before you before, but to my knowledge, the issues were access before. They were trying to access Creel Road, and so we have developed this plan to only access West Fayetteville Road. And so we've actually even reached out to GDOT, sent them our plan, and they have approved the location of our driveways based on our site distance and our location. So we wanted to kind of get that out of the way to begin with there. As Tyler said, this is we're going from low density residential. We're planning to go to medium density residential, which is 4 to 8 units per acre. However, our project has 3.69 units per acre, so we technically fall in the low density residential category. But however, staff recommended that we go for the medium density residential. Again, it's got the current zone is RS 180. We're trying to rezone to RTH, single family attached townhomes. We'll have 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, 24-foot wide, 100-foot depth, as per the ordinances. We'll have the sewers provided, water and sewers provided by Clayton County Water Authority. We will have more than enough open space. Our requirement is 5% of the gross area, which is 1.25 acres of required open space. We actually have 13.9, so almost 55% of the project. We're proposing to donate the northern portion, all the land on the north side of the creek there, to the Clayton County Parks and Rec, because as you can see, there's a little portion on the northwest corner of our property that connects. Yes, that is actually owned also by the Parks and Rec Department. So there can be some connection with our amenity areas as well. We're proposing walking trails, pavilions, and playgrounds, sidewalks on both sides of the street. All units will have 2-car garages. We have 31 additional guest parking spaces proposed. Street lights, privacy fence along Creel and West Fayetteville behind those units as well. The price range will be $300 plus. And so we've submitted all our architectural renderings and those type things. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. This is I kind of did my whole spiel here for the rezoning as well, but any questions?
Any questions at this time?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there?
Let me ask,
Commissioner Hambrick.
and I guess we can go into this now instead of the second part, okay, regarding the fencing. I just heard.
Can you come
Yes,
back up?
so.
Can the applicant come back up?
Yeah,
please?
the engineer can come up and talk about the fencing, also the type of fencing that they'll be able to actually place on the property. But the fencing that we were discussing, that we did discuss, was on Creel. If there's any additional fencing as proposed, we can also handle it during the preliminary plat stage as well, because they'll have to go to the zoning advisory group since these are fee simple townhomes. But the applicant can also give a little bit more information on the specifics on the built structure, what those fences were going to look like in the location.
Yeah, thank you. I should have been more clear on that, so my apologies. We're proposing a 6-foot privacy fence. It'd be a wood privacy fence along the back of those units there, along Creel Road, or excuse me, Creel Drive, and then those units up at the top there that also back up to West Fayetteville Road. We want to do some additional plantings through there as well to kind of enhance the screen, especially along Creel Road, Creel Drive through there. So we want to, we kind of propose to plant a mix of magnolias, cypress, and evergreen trees. Probably not the Leland cypress that are having a lot of trouble with disease, but more of the cryptomere and green giant type variety. So that's kind of what we're proposing as well. Is that kind of?
Yes, that's okay, but this is more for the land use map, right? Is that, and not the specifics and all that we've discussed? Right. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. At this time, is there anyone who is in favor of this? Y'all can come up and talk. Come on up to the podium.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Chairwoman, Assistant Chair, and our other commissioners. I'm Apostle Dr. D.A. Tillman. Clayton County is my area of interest as well for development. I think this is an exceptional project, and it definitely will meet the need of housing for our communities. So I'm in favor. And I thank you all for everything that you're doing here in Clayton County as far as building and helping our areas to grow.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else who's in favor of this project?
Somebody walked out. She said her name, but she didn't say her address or where she's representing.
What city?
Riverdale.
Riverdale, she said. All right.
Yeah, this has an Atlanta address, but it's really Riverdale.
No, she talking about, she said that.
Right,
Apostle,
I'm just saying.
Apostle didn't say her name. Say her address. All right, anyone else? Does anyone else, would anyone else like to state they're in favor of this item? All right, is there anyone here that's in opposition of this item? Come up.
Henry Anderson, District 3 constituent and resident, unincorporated Clayton County, Hampton, Georgia. You all received my email, and I hope you had a chance to read it, about townhomes. Senior Legacy Commissioner, Ms. Gail Hambrick, the #1 commissioner of Clayton County, your 17th year as commissioner. You are an E6 commissioner, as well as all of you, an excellent, elite, exceptional, exemplary, energetic, enthusiastic commissioner. The presenter sounded real good, donating to Parks and Rec, but as I stated, that is not the best use of this. The real estate companies and real estate developers has targeted Clayton County as the townhome capital of the metropolitan Atlanta, Georgia area. Everything that I see is townhomes, and I served on the comprehensive plan 10 years ago for 2034, and I heard all of this. But townhomes. The gentleman said $300,000 townhomes. You could put residential properties at that price and have homeowners to stay. Townhomes bring renters. And the reason they do townhomes, because I've done my research, because they're considered residential properties. So they can not do with commercial properties. And they can do less. And townhomes bring renters, not stable homeowners. But if you can build $300,000 townhomes, you can build residential properties. As I stated, over the past weekend in DeKalb County, if you go down I-285 east and south at exit 44, Glenwood Road, just look up. I saw Rockhaven homes, new homes from the 200,000s. You all, if you just stand strong and not be easily persuaded and easily influenced with townhomes. We have more than enough townhomes. We got so much townhomes. We are the townhome capital. That's why our median income stays low, and that's why our tax base stays low. And that is the fact and the truth. Now, you need to stand strong, repair the damage, because you have approved your share of townhomes, and Commissioner Allen, you are my commissioner, so you have not had this presented to you yet, so you understand my position. And so all I'm saying, Commissioner Gail Hambrick, Senior Legacy Commissioner, Clayton County's #1 commissioner in your 17th year, the Dean of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, I would hope you would stand strong and stand tall and hold out for $300,000 residential RS-110, RS-180, and don't let another developer bring another townhome. But if you choose to approve, unfortunately, it will be put in the failure category. Like I said, I evaluate now. In Elena Reeves, already 3 successes. Townhomes we don't need anymore. And I know what I say is accurate and true. If you hold out, you can get nice residential homes and have stable homeowners like all of you and me, 30 years in Clayton County. Increase our tax base, increase our median income. So again, the mark is ready. Hopefully, you will be in the success category. But if townhomes are approved, unfortunately, you see nothing is there yet. Unfortunately and disappointingly, I would have to put it in the fair category because I know and I have confidence and trust that you can put residential properties and they will sell. They will sell. I have that confidence and that trust and assuredness. I hope you do as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, is there anyone else who is in opposition? Anyone in opposition?
Okay, Jean-Pierre Bourget, District 4. So, couple of things. So first and foremost, I am not against housing, more housing, not at all. In fact, we do need townhomes, actually. And the reason being is because by the year 2030, the average household size is supposed to reduce to about 2.5. And a lot of their single-family homes essentially are built for larger families. And that demographically, we have aging seniors, we have young people that don't have access to townhomes. And there are a lot of different other types of housing as well, which is called missing middle housing, right? So there are townhomes, there are cottage, like cottages, there are a variety of different housing types that exist. And if you think about one thing about townhomes too, is think about the Northeast, think about Philly, right? Think about, I don't know, New York or Boston or Washington, D.C. that have beautiful townhomes where they're in established neighborhoods. So my issue is not the housing. My issue is not the housing type. However, this goes back to our public comment that I talked about earlier about highest and best use, right? Specifically taking a look at this parcel of land, so I know that at the top it's 13 acres. I did not catch the entire acreage of the area, but it's a significant amount of land. And specifically, as we're thinking about how can we bring economic development, we need to protect our parcels and really study them to understand what can we do to integrate both housing as well as economic opportunities. Another thing about this plan as well is that you have a singular point of entry, right? And knowing that because by the year 2050, we know that nearly 8 million people are coming to Atlanta area, congestion is rising. And so especially as a suburban county, one of the things that we need to keep in consideration is that how can we increase different points of entry, right? So as opposed to have a single point where it has that similar, the looping kind of way, the cul-de-sacs, that actually is a recipe for transportation issues in the future along that route. But if, say for instance, if the developer came back and said, hey, we want to have ways to interconnect with the neighboring neighborhood, then that provides other ways which people can exit and enter this neighborhood. So just thinking about for long term, just in consideration, I'm against it because of the traditional nature of development. And yes, as our community development department said, this is in our comprehensive plan. This does conform with what we've put out, but we also have a zoning update that's coming soon, right? And as we're thinking about the zoning update, one of the things we have to start thinking about is how can we start changing our codes so they're more conducive for transportation networks that move, that connect the community and don't stagnate or trap the community, kind of like how we are when we do these traditional types of developments, as well as thinking about different mixed-use categories so that if there is a proposal for townhomes, there can also be a commercial element so that that area, which is purely residential right now, people have access to shops and coffee shops and restaurants, things like that. So I'm not against the housing, but I'm against the current design and zoning for this. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else who is in opposition of this item?
Johnny Lee. Good evening. I'm not in favor of this situation, and if anybody, the main problem is traffic. I do believe in people having to do what they want to do with their property, but there should be regular housing. Leave the zoning as is. And I'm looking at that entry. It's not going to help. That traffic situation is already backed up, and I do see in the future somewhere along time, somewhere we're going to have to do something about that intersection. The intersection is already bad. If you put that housing complex or whatever in there, it's going to chop off any future development for maybe widen that area, widen the streets, or doing anything else to it. Right now it is too congested. Anybody who think I'm over exaggerating, come out there this weekend between 1 and 5 and see if you can get through there. I guarantee you won't. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who's in opposition? He doesn't need to state that. What's your county, Mr. Johnny, what's your county again? What's your county of residence?
Residency again.
I mean, I'm sorry, city.
County of residence.
City and county.
Clayton.
Clayton.
He's Clayton.
Yeah, okay.
Riverdale, right? Thank you.
He said it was real fast though. You heard. Okay.
We ready?
Mm-hmm.
Madam Clerk, Mickey Garber, unincorporated Rex, Georgia. Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the board, I want y'all to look at just one thing that I'm going to mention here. People come into this county wanting to build things, but you ever notice none of them live here. They all telling you they got a good fit for you, but none of them live here. They don't have skin in the game. And what you got to get over is them telling you what they're going to build. You got to tell them what they're going to build. Thank you.
At this time, I think that, Mr. Reed, that's it, correct? Well, we don't have any more.
It's a lady.
Do we have any more time?
No, that's all.
That's all the time, yes. All right, next, will the applicants please come forward?
Yes, ma'am. Just to
Please set the time for rebuttal.
I think I had 4. There we go. Okay, just to go through a couple of the items that were brought up here. These will not be rentals. These are all for sale. So hopefully that will put to bed some of the issues that was brought up originally. The first gentleman was speaking about townhomes, too many townhomes. Well, the reason they keep building the townhomes is because they sell, okay? They're very affordable. They're a good mix in between the rentals for apartments and then the single-family homes. They attract more either older couples that don't want to maintain, a big yard, or they attract younger couples who are just kind of getting their start. So they're in the price range that they can afford, especially this project. And this is a unique site in its proximity to Atlanta. You come right out onto West Fayetteville and you can go right into Atlanta. So it's a really good, centrally located, close to Atlanta. We want to attract more younger, successful individuals to this area. As far as the connectivity to other neighborhoods, a gentleman brought up, we kind of learned early on in this project that I think that's been some of the issues previously when this project was brought forward, and it was made clear to us by the residents, and especially the residents to the east there, the west, that they did not want us connecting to their neighborhood. So that's the reason for our one driveway. And alleviating the traffic concerns. To my knowledge, most of the traffic problems are on Creel Drive trying to get onto West Fayetteville. And so that's why if we have our driveway there directly onto West Fayetteville, so we don't worsen the traffic problem on Creel Road. and we put them straight out onto West Fayetteville. They can go north and south. So that was kind of the thought process behind that. And to Mr. Garber's point about telling us what we what we can build, that's kind of what the county ordinances do. They're very specific about materials, sizes, square footages, bedrooms, lot sizes, all those type things. So we don't come up with this on our own, as you know. These are all dictated by the ordinances. So I'll be glad to answer any additional questions that you may have.
Are there any questions at this time? All right, Commissioner Hammer, what is your pleasure?
Well, let me say this. We've had comments and all, and thank you, Mr. Bouger, because you're right on point, even though you're saying something with the negative, but you're right on point, because that's what I hear most. You know, there are younger people, and my girls grew up here. I've been in Clayton County a long time, and people graduate, they leave. And you ask them, you know, why don't you stay or live in Clayton County? They say, because I don't want a house. I'm close to the airport or whatever, or I work at the airport and I want something where I can, you know, don't have to do the yards and all. And the upkeep is very minimal and all. So, but let me just say something about this particular property. I've had at least 2 or 3 people coming wanting to put a gas station. And some of them, I don't think they've reached zoning, because I tell them no right off, you know, no gas station. We have had a couple people that wanted townhomes, but they wanted to enter on Creel flat shows. As a matter of fact, we had one of those to come before us. And that was definitely the big hang up. Plus, they weren't willing to work with us as much as we've been working with this particular company. The entry and all, I guess I can get into this again too on the second part, but the no entry on Creel was definitely of importance to me, because I live in that area and I know what it looks like. Before, it was like in the afternoons or whatever with the traffic and all, but now actually it's all time of day, because we have an active park right there, which a lot of people use, Flat Shows Park. And one of the things that we're trying to do as far as economic development is concerned, because if you get the young people that's making the money, you are going to build up the communities, and you are going to have the restaurants we've been talking about and all, because they're not going to be just folk going to the restaurants on your birthday or on a special occasion. They're going to be people that's eating out regularly. I've looked at different places, and particularly Cobb County. You know, South Cobb Drive or whatever, and some of those other areas, I look and I see, you know, the build up and how people are in and out, and the income and all, and particularly that area, because it's close to the interstate. Just like this area is close to the airport and all. And I've worked the airport part-time for years. And that's what I hear a lot, is that people want to move here, especially younger people, but they're not going to buy a house. They don't want to buy a house and all. And I've heard that too many times. Another thing about this, the proximity as far as these townhomes are concerned, it is close to the park. And if I'm not mistaken, I guess at some point you all have talked, or will talk with the park as far as connecting, because one of the things that we're going to have a pocket park on East Fayetteville and West Fayetteville. And along with that park will be a trail, a walking trail that would extend from Flat Shoals Park up to the pocket park, down to the Virginia Gray Rec Center, over to the senior center. And with this development saying that they are going to connect, would like to connect and talk with Parks and Rec about connecting those trails, would be a great thing, especially if, whether it's young, old, or whatever, and all, would be a good thing for us. I don't know if we have the renderings and all, or we can have it for the next section or whatever, but just to give a look at how.
Regarding the park or the...
No, regarding the development.
The development,
yes.
We do have elevations of the homes provided by the applicant.
Okay. Well, you want to, yeah. Okay. with the double car garages and all. And I know, and people have got, Dr. and Henry Anderson, you said something about not wanting, we don't need it. You have to know your area. I know the area and all, and I know you're saying no part, you know, and there are places for homes and all this, but on this particular site, and like I said, folk think this is more for gas stations or whatever, and I don't know how many times I've said, at least 3 times no, you know, before the people even come. So there are different things for different areas and all, and while you're doing your voting or your grading and all, just know something about the area, okay? So what I would like to do at this time for the betterment of not only Clayton County economic development and all that we see coming and want to come and all, that we will have an area where people that want to come back home or want to come to Clayton County out of the Atlanta area, because Atlanta is building out. The northern part is building out. And we need more livable places in the southern part of the county, southern part of Atlanta particularly. And for that reason, I am going to agree and that we pass BOC 2501-0474 and amend the future land use map.
Second.
All right. Board members, is there any more discussion at this time?
We have a motion on the floor.
Can you just do the motion?
Yeah.
You did the motion,
Yeah.
you second it. All right, so any discussion? No discussion, so we're going to the vote. Are y'all ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? The ayes have it and the motion passes. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. We're moving forward to the next petition. That will be item number 44, which is the companion case. This is BLC 2501-0473. Again, this is rezoning for property located at 6115 West Fayetteville Road and 1821 Creel Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, unincorporated Clayton County, from RS 180 to RTH, Single Family Residential Attached Townhome District, for the development of 114 single-family attached townhomes. As mentioned before to the commissioners, we have reviewed over the impact of analysis for this request. Also, its impact with the comprehensive plan. Our planning team has looked at this request from a quarter mile and has determined that this is in line with the policies of the comprehensive plan. We are aware that this will be a one-point entry and exit from the site. There are similar uses in the area, which includes townhomes and medium to low density residential. So with this in mind, we will, staff recommendation for this request was approval. That was forwarded to the Zone Advisory Group. The Zone Advisory Group recommendation was denial, and for the record, I want to mention the reason why, and that will also be applicable to the previous case. The reasoning for the recommendation of denial from the ZAG was the concerns of density and traffic. But the recommendation of approval and its associated conditions, and I'll read those for the record for staff's forwarding to you all today. The proposed conditions for this request: 1, the developer will install a 6-foot privacy fence along State Route 314, which is West Fayetteville Road, and Flat Shoals and Creel Road. In addition, the developer will replant trees and the buffer behind the homes on Flat Shoals Road and Creel Road. Condition number 2, the developer will commit to a minimum of 25% of the units targeting young professionals. These units will have 2 bedrooms to provide an additional flex space for an office, study, den, etc. Lastly, condition number 3, the developer will donate approximately 7 acres of land contiguous to the Flat Shoals Park and put in walking trails using materials consistent with those used in the park. Those are the forwarding conditions tied to this rezoning and this development. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have for staff.
All right, are there any questions at this time, Commissioner?
Yes. I believe we discussed the sidewalk, and the sidewalk covering 314 and going up Creel to Flat Shoals.
Right.
Is that correct?
So for this development, wherever there is road frontage, our group TRC and the transportation development requirements state that new developments will have to have sidewalks provided for the environment, for the development's road frontage.
Okay. Now, I know that the sidewalk on 314, not 314, but Creel up to Flat Shoals. But the development will be, I think that's more like back of the development, if I'm not mistaken.
So if you're looking at the screen here, if you're following my mouse, literally where my mouse is where you'll see new pavement for walkway for the sidewalks that will go along that was road frontages.
Mm-hmm.
So that's approximately where the property touches the road, and that's where the sidewalks will be provided along the property's frontage.
Okay, so how far back will the fence start?
So the fence will have to be placed within the property. It cannot be placed within the right-of-way.
Right.
But once we get to that point, we'll have our technical review committee to look at that to see what's feasible. We understand that the engineer will come up here and state that there may be some improvements needed along the property frontage, so that the county will work with them on what necessary improvements are needed. But we understand that there will be room for a fence to be placed on the property.
Does that come back before us, or?
No, that will go to the zone advisory group for the preliminary plat for a fee simple subdivision for more than 5 lots.
And the buffer, we just have the one buffer?
There's a buffer along Creel and West, so wherever you have anything adjacent in terms of separation of land uses, they're required to have a residential buffer separating the uses. So there will be multiple buffers there.
Okay. And the entrance.
Yes.
I just can't express that enough.
Mm-hmm.
Of no entry or no exit on Creel or Flat Shoals.
Right. We do not have that as a condition, but we can place that as the 4th condition
Please.
as stated.
So, yeah.
So for the record, the 4th condition will read that one point of access only on Creel.
No,
on West Fayetteville, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, no entry on Creel, on West
or
Fayetteville.
Exit.
Or exit.
Entrance
That's
or
correct.
exit on Creel, which changes into Flat Shoals.
That's correct. Thank you.
Any other questions at this time? All right, is the applicant here again? Would you like to come up, and how much time will you need?
4 minutes is good again.
Okay. Please set the clock.
All right, thank you, Tyler. Just to kind of, I'll add just a little bit more to what I said before. We'll be donating almost 8 acres. It's on that side of the creek. And the current Flat Shoals Park is 25 acres. So we'll be increasing the size of that park by almost 30% by donating that land on the other side of the creek there. So it's quite a bit of addition to that park. It's a real nice area. It's wooded. It's got some nice hills on it. So great place for the walking trails and to connect to the new park that Ms. Hamrick was speaking about as well. Yes, there will be sidewalks along Creel and West Fayetteville, our entire property frontage there, as well as both sides of the streets inside of a neighborhood as well. Our property kind of ends just past our entrance on West Fayetteville, and so that's, all of our road frontage there will be fenced per the ordinance, and we are agreeable to those 4 conditions that they just proposed.
Yeah. The question about the extra spaces, parking spaces.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how many of those?
We have 31 additional parking spaces.
Okay, but for each area, each cul-de-sac, or?
We've got them on 3 cul-de-sacs, so we've got, I think there's 6 or 8 up there by the community mailbox when you come in the entrance. And then we kind of tried to space them out on the other cul-de-sacs, the remainder of them, to kind of give everybody, you wouldn't have too far to walk. So, but we do have 31 additional guest parking spaces.
Okay, dumpsters or?
These will be, typically most of these that we've been developing are just, they have the individual bins. When you get, our experience is when you have a central dumpster in these type of locations, they end up just becoming a mess. People fill them up, they either spilling over, they don't you get a resident that doesn't want to pay for individual trash service and they go dumping their stuff in there. You get people from the outside that come in because they know it's there. So we just, in our experience, it's worked much better with individual bins in the homeowners responsible for.
Let me ask you this, and this may be up to the HOA.
Okay.
As far as how many trash companies will be allowed to come in.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, there definitely will be a mandatory HOA, and they can decide that if you have a preference. You know, we'd be glad to. You know, I mean, not the individual trash company, but how many? I guess. I would say probably one trash company would be the most.
I would. And I don't know, Tyler. Would that need to be a condition? Would it be or wouldn't it? What are y'all laughing at? What's the right about as far as the trash companies? Would we have to say a minimum? I mean, just one trash company or?
Commissioner, we typically do. Mr. Chica, did you want to?
You know.
Okay. We typically do have subdivisions that come before this board, and there's usually a condition that one centralized, trash pickup be provided, but that can be entered in as a condition. But I think the county has been moving forward towards that.
Okay, so one trash company, right?
And that would be the 5th condition read to the record if we put that as a condition.
Okay.
And also, just to clarify regarding the donation piece or the condition, that action was based upon for them to get relief of the density concerns that were provided by ZAG. So ZAG heard the request and made mention about the density overall use of the property, so the donation was part of that to alleviate that concern, which was based upon the conversations with the applicant.
Yeah, how would that be worked out? Would that have to be worked out with our legal?
Yes, legal would have to have a conversation on that with the developer, and that will come at a later date.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chica.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Commissioner. Well, I would like to put it on the record that there is, because to transfer properties to the county has a process.
Okay.
That they're going to come back and do that with the county. So we need to find a language to put it in there. Okay, that the developer will come back to the county and go through the process of donating that land to the county, so that we'll make sure that actually happens.
Right.
Yes.
So will that be a condition?
Yes.
Okay. So that's 6, I think.
Actually, Commissioner, that's already part of 3. The
Is
donation.
what now?
The donation is already part of 3. So just as they go through that process, once they get to final plat stage, then that's when we'll kind of address that as part of that final condition.
Okay.
All right, next up is there anyone that is here that is in favor of this item? Please come up and state your name and county of residence.
Hello, my name is India Gray. I live in District 3, Clayton County. I moved down here in 2015, specifically there in the rental townhomes on the other side of Flat Shoals Park. When I decided to buy a house here in this county, I desperately was looking and looking for townhomes with garages for single people like me who are high income earners who also get on the plane and get on the airport and get out of here on a very regular basis. And there were none affordable in a price range that I could manage. This going through here, I am going to go and buy one of these. Absolutely. And so will all the other people who are in the 30 to 40 range. Those of us who don't want to have a huge yard. Those of us who don't want to mow every day. Like, it rains every other day here. My grass, I've had to mow like 5 times this week. I don't want to have to do that. Absolutely no. This is the kind of situation that most younger people want. We want to be able to have access to highways. We want to be able to have access to decent grocery stores. We want to have access to walkable areas where we can go to the park. I was over there at Flat Shoals Park on a regular basis. I just walk out of the area and go to the park and just make my wraps around the park, getting in my 10,000 steps. That is what we need here. For if you guys want to keep people like me, keep people who are like trying to come here and live and truly live here, we need stuff like this. So that's my time.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else that is in favor of these townhomes at this time? Anybody else in favor? One more time, is there anyone else in favor? All right. Is there anyone in opposition of this item? Please come up to the podium and state your name and your county of residence.
Henry Anderson, District 3 constituent and resident, unincorporated Clayton County, Hampton, Georgia. Senior Legacy Commissioner, Ms. Gail Hambrick, Clayton County's #1 commissioner in terms of length of time and service in your 17th year. Your
16.
Well, this is your 17th because you got elected again in 24. 17th year, Commissioner Hambrick. Count them. You are a very popular, dynamic commissioner for your district, and you have that seat until you want it no more. I will give you this going forward. I will, because I stand by what I say with townhomes. I just say we're out of balance with all of these townhomes, because if they were as you and everybody say, we wouldn't have the money problems that we have, we wouldn't have the problems that we have. We're just out of balance, and I feel that it can support $300,000 homes, and I stand by that. But I will say this, going forward, I will go to each location, because that was that will be done, so I will look at the area. But I've been around Clayton County, but I still stand by what I say. But I will say this, Commissioner Hambrick. Yes, I stand by it, and it is in the failure fold, and of course, this is going to be approved because I stand by what I say. But I will say this, Commissioner Hambrick, I'm saying this to all of you all. Since all of you all feel, because I'm understanding the mindset, so I like the passion that you showed. Continue, but I want you to take it further, and this is to all of you. If all of you are going to continue to approve townhomes, and especially you, Commissioner, it hadn't happened yet, but it's coming, and I'm your constituent, so you know my position. Then what I want to see, you have a wonderful CCTV, wonderful director of communications, Ms. Valerie Fuller. I want to see you stand by the development. I may know that this development because it's going in the red folder, and I will go by, and I hope every beautiful thing, because it does sound good, that they say what they say. I've heard too much and seen too much where they say one thing and they don't do what they say. But I will say this, Commissioner Hambrick, and all of y'all, if you want to approve the townhomes, then go and get Director Fuller, take a camera, and I want you to stand there with passion, like you're doing here, and stand by that townhome and say, this is what I approve, this is what I will continue. When you run for re-election, I want to hear that, townhomes. I want to hear that, that's all, because I hear all of this, but yet I heard none of that, none of that. I want to see commercials. BPEC, see, I stand by what I say, and I'm evaluating, but if you do, then complete it. You control CCTV. Stand in front of the development. I will hold you to that, Commissioner Hambrick. I want you to stand in front of that development as it's being built and say, this is what I do for my district. Good, you want to do townhomes? That's good. We have a difference of opinion, but I want to see commercials. I want to see it, and when you do it, please let me know when it'll come on CCTV so I can watch it. That's all. See, we say this and you say this, but I see none of that. And I know how the citizens feel. I just have courage enough to come before you now. I should have done this years before. See, I have the courage and the strength. I mean, it's not going to make any difference because I know what the mindset is. It's in our land use plan, and we are the townhome capital of the metropolitan Atlanta area. We are. And I know what they do. They take their massive profits because it's going to be profitable for them. But when they go to Fayette, Cobb, Gwinnett, when the citizens want that housing with amenities. We do have a market here for it. We just have a difference of opinion. But if all of you love townhomes, if that's what you want to do, then take it further. Get CCTV. Do it immediately, and let everybody. That's how you really show power there. And I have respect, but complete it. That's all. Stand firm and say we're townhomes. We're gonna approve townhome after townhome after townhome. Don't bring in an RS 110. Don't bring in RS 130. Come on, builders. We're the townhome capital. Bring your town, because it's already known in Clayton County. That's all that I'm saying. I'm just saying we're out of balance. And I do have trust and confidence. We do need residential housing to bring more folk. I heard this 10 years ago, and it's already to fruition because that's all that's going up is townhomes in the cities, everywhere. So, Commissioner Hambrick, you are a great commissioner. You are continuing to be great. You're going to be reelected in 2018. You are a strong commissioner. If that's what your people want, you are very popular. You're a 5-term commissioner, and you got reelected in 2024. So that's it. Thank you very much for the time.
Is there anyone else who is in opposition of? I'm gonna let you go, and then Mr. Garvey, you can comment.
Okay. So once again, no issues with the housing type, but specifically about the access. And the reason being, there's something called the bottleneck effect, right? So off of 314, what happens is that as people start coming there, they start turning in, you have people coming home from work, they're gonna be waiting, right, to take that right turn, if they might be coming in. And so what happens is that causes traffic that backs all the way up. And so I definitely understand, I get it, 1,000%, where it's like, we just want this to be contained. And in the beginning, that's fine. But then as we're starting to think 10, 20, 30 years into the future, that becomes a congested corridor. And if there aren't any other access points, it becomes very difficult. So once again, the form is excellent that there's gonna be connectivity there's additional green space, that's excellent. We should definitely be protecting our green space, but it's the lack of access on Creel Road, and I get it, but just long term. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Garber?
Madam Clerk, Mickey Garber, Unincorporated, Rex, Georgia. Let me speak slowly here. Let's talk price point. Ms. Hambrick, Commissioner Hambrick, you always mention North Cobb County. Well, price the homes, the townhomes in North Cobb County. What you need to be bringing down here is prices of those homes here. Now, let's talk about where we're going to put them. How would you like some of these townhomes here at Lake Spivey area? I hadn't seen any of them get voted in around there. Townhomes in the 300,000 price point. Let's talk about garbage. Let's talk about garbage. You're saying you want each individual to have their own garbage pickup. Well, why not have a homeowners association for one garbage pickup and have that dumpster? And my friend George mentioned that other people come in and use that dumpster to put their garbage in. Why not have a gated community where nobody comes in and dumps the garbage? Because if you have each one of those people without a homeowners association taking care of the garbage, you're going to have those certain individuals in that neighborhood who aren't going to have garbage pickup, who's going to let it go on our highways here. What the problem is you can't without us, you're unable to hold all these thoughts together. And that's the reason we're not moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who's in opposition of this item at this time? All right. Will the applicant please come forward? Do you need any time at this time for rebuttal?
No, ma'am, I don't think so. I just wanted to point out, the gentleman was talking about the right turns in there. We will have a decel lane in there that will help get people out of the main line of traffic before they pull in. So, but that's about all I had. I think we kind of covered most everything, but I'll be glad to answer any more questions you may have.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that about the decel.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, board members, are there any more questions at this time? All right, Commissioner Hambrick, what is your pleasure?
Well, I want to make sure that this is one Tyler as far as the conditions are concerned.
Yes, Commissioner, for the record, we had the original 3 conditions that we spoke of, with the 3rd condition to mention more information about the property being donated. So we talked about that they will come back and have discussions with legal in the county. Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, we had the 4th and the 5th condition, with the 4th being no entry on Creole, only on West Fairview Road. And then we had the...
Well, if you don't mind, would you say Creole, because it changes to flat show. So include both of those, please.
Right, so no entry or access on Creole and flat shoals, only on West Fairfield. And the 5th condition, we had the 1 trash service for the development.
Okay, sidewalk. Well, that's, I mean, that's.
It's code.
Okay, I just
It's
want to make
part of
sure it
code.
covers both streets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was something else, privacy fence, the buffer. It was something else they agreed to do about the planting or whatever. I guess.
So we did discuss the landscaping.
Right.
So if we want to condition that to say landscaping where feasible along property road frontages. Like I said, there may be some engineering tied to the work that they're trying to do for this development. So conditioning them to something regarding landscaping can be based upon whatever.
Well, especially
the county agrees
surrounding
to.
where the people, I mean, where Creole and flat shows, whatever.
So I'm hearing for Creel
won't be
and Flat
facing-
Shoals landscaping plan to be provided to the county?
Yes. Okay, and okay, we mentioned that.
Those are the 6 conditions that we discussed.
Just make sure that the developer is okay with that in that 6th one, because that wasn't one that was discussed earlier.
I couldn't.
Saying just to make sure that the developer, to acknowledge that he's good with all 6, because that 6th one was just added.
Right, okay.
Yes, we're good with that. It kind of tails off of number 1 as well, but yeah, we're fine with that, yes, ma'am.
Okay. With considering the conditions and all, I recommend that we approve BOC 2501-0474. Did I get it?
With condition.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. BOC -2501-0473.
With conditions?
With the conditions, yes. I think I started out with the conditions.
All right, I second it. All right, board members, is there any discussion at this time? All right, are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. All right, next is number 45, BOC 2408-0446.
Yes, this is the last petition for tonight for zoning. Again, that's BOC 2408-0446. This is a land use map amendment on behalf of the applicant Creative Community Concepts, which are amending the property land use category for 7257 Mount Zion Boulevard in Jonesboro, Georgia, from agriculture to general commercial for a commercial multi-tenant development. The property consists of 2.8 acres of land, and this property is located within Commissioner District 4. The planning and zoning team has reviewed over the area. We're mentioning on note that this area is within transition based upon the realignment of Mount Zion Boulevard. We note that the adjacent property next to it has been zoned general business, which was granted by the Board of Commissioners. The future land use map amendment would be consistent with the adjacent property next to this particular site. The visual that's being shown before you all shows two parcels, which one is already zoned commercial and the other piece is residential, which had been vacant. This is in line where the comprehensive plan in terms of protecting our commercial centers and investing commercial property. The planning and zoning consultants recommended approval of this request. On March 31st, the zone advisory group voted to approve of this request as well. The companion rezoning is still within the zone advisory group hearing process, which will be heard in June. So it will come back before this board on June 17th. But before you all is the recommendation of approval for the future land use map. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have for
All
staff.
right, board members, are there any questions at this time regarding the future land use map? So,
Right? I move that we approve BOC 2408-0446.
Well, hold on.
Do it this.
If you're going to move to approve, then you need to hold a hearing.
Yeah,
We didn't have that hearing yet. Let's go.
The applicant is here.
oh, he's here, okay. Yeah, come on up here.
The, I think the staff recommendation was to table,
Okay.
Yeah.
but you want to move forward with the.
Yeah, since
So
we're
it's-
just, we're just doing the flum, we're fine with this.
Okay.
All right.
Good
How much-
evening.
How much time will you need?
For a rebuttal or
Mhm,
in
for
general?
rebuttal.
2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Raquel Obumba. I am now a resident of Stockbridge, Georgia in Henry County, but I still own property in Clayton County. And I'm coming before you assisting my client with the future land use map amendment and rezoning for this property. Back in November of '23, the board approved rezoning for the next door property. At that time, he was under contract to purchase this property and now has since closed on the property and wants to combine them. But per code, we cannot combine two properties that are two separate zonings.
That's it? All right. All right, at this time, is there anyone who is, who's in favor of this property? If so, approving this, if so, please state your name and county of residence and come up. Again, is there anyone who is in favor of approve of this item? At this time, please state your name, come up.
Madam Clerk, Mickey Garber, unincorporated Rex, Georgia. As I understand, this piece of property is in the Mount Zion Boulevard corridor, which from where the Battle Creek, where the water department is, to Terra Boulevard, all the way to Lake Harbin Road, is primarily a commercial area and a heavy east-west corridor. And I see no reason to grant this person, not to grant this person a combination of land use map 2408-0446 to combine the two properties to have a commercial enterprise rental, multi-rental there. However, one caveat to this, his building must conform to the rest of the area. It should fit within the area. He should have ample parking. He should have sidewalks. And, of course, he's going to provide his own trash pickup for all the people there and have one, not each individual multi-rental is going to have a different trash. He's going to have one provider use it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else who is in favor of this item? All right. One more time. Is there anyone else who is in favor of this item? Is there anyone else tonight who would like to come up that is in opposition of this item?
Could you put the land use map once again, please? Okay, so that particular property, so I'm very familiar with this corridor right here. So that's where the Brewster's is, Zaxby's. One thing that we have to keep in mind is that this is moving towards a general, from agricultural to general commercial. The area right here is already, as you can see, being zoned as mixed use. When we're thinking about economic development, value per acre, right? We want to be able to maximize the most for our zoning. Shifting it to general commercial, generally that typically reduces it to one use. So that means that because of just the use and form of what's already existing, that's probably another strip mall, right? As we are, especially when it comes to agricultural properties, it's super important for us to defend every single piece of our land and be able to zone it in a way that is going to be most beneficial for the citizens of the county. And so just out of the defense, due to the fact that there's already the mixed use zoning category, if there's a way for it to have that continuation, especially along as this corridor continues to build out, this would be an effective use of our ability to continue to zone, as well as an effective way for us to be able to foster connective economic development opportunities. And so, and just to be very plain and clear, everybody wants walkable communities, right? People want walkable communities, people want businesses they can go to. The zoning code that allows that is mixed use. General commercial zoning generally is usually very car dependent, right? And it's basically traditional things in our corridors. So my opposition to that is why I'm not opposed to business occurring, and as understanding that this is a corridor that is being built out, I would opt for it to be a continuation of mixed use rather than the general commercial. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Again, is there anyone who is in opposition of this item? All right. One more time, is there anyone who is in opposition of this item? All right. Will the applicant please come back up? All right. Would you like to do a rebuttal at this time?
Based off what the applicant and property owner intend to do with this property, the best zoning option was the general commercial. And again, because we want to combine the two lots, we already have one zoned general business, so then we'd have to go through another rezoning to rezone the other one back to mixed. It just makes it a very complicated process. But understand, you know, the need and desire for mixed use, but just in this particular scenario, it's just not feasible.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Davis, what is your pleasure at this time?
I wish to approve BLC 2408-0446, the future land use map.
All right, I second that motion. Is there any discussion at this time? All right, are you ready for the question of the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Mr. Reed, do we have executive session? Of course.
Yes, real estate personnel litigation.
All right, I need a motion to go into executive session. Can I get a motion at this time?
So moved.
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and the motion passes. We will now go into executive session. Thank you. All right. The board is returning back from executive session.
So moved. Oh. So we need a motion to
Yes, go.
Oh, I did, oh, okay, yeah, so moved.
All right, second. All right, in discussion at this time, all right, we're back. You ready?
Any vote?
Any vote? Yeah.
What?
All in favor say aye.
Aye, I'm sorry.
Cold, I'm freezing.
Right.
All right. I have a order in the matter of Brittany Williams versus Levon Allen in his official capacity as sheriff of Clayton County in civil actions, United States District Court, Northern District of Georgia, civil action number 120 CV00186 JPV. And this judgment is in response to a motion to alter judgment, and that is a reduction of plaintiff's damages to $64,811.96, awarded under the Rehab Act for lost wages, $8,804.12 in interest, and then attorney's fees in the amount of $287,495 under the Rehab Act. And I'm asking that the Chief Financial Officer have be authorized to amend the budget to reflect the appropriate revenue source and expenses required under this judgment.
All right, at this time, I need a motion to approve the
So
judgment.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion at this time? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstention, I'm sorry.
All right, please state your reason for abstaining.
Legal opinion needed.
All right. All right, the ayes have it and the motion passes. Thank you. That's it?
No.
That's it for him.
Board of Commissioners, and I cannot ever miss an opportunity to say hello to our Clayton County citizens, although they may be in bed by now.
I was just curious to say, hey, y'all.
We have, HR has two. I'll start with the first one. Ms. Leslie Moore was appointed Interim Director of Internal Audits on August the 6th, 2022. Ms. Moore has a tenure of 19 years with Clayton County. Her current salary is $120,754. Based on Mrs. Moore's performance and tenure, Human Resources is requesting the board's approval to remove Ms. Moore from the interim status and promote her to the Director of Internal Audits. Ms. Moore was appointed Interim Director in accordance with Civil Service Rule 7.202F, which required a salary adjustment at the time of her appointment. Therefore, her compensation will not change. Absent of any other budgetary considerations, this request has no cost impact to the county, and as a matter of fact, I am estimating that we will save on recruiting cost if we promote Ms. Moore.
At this time, I need a motion in regards to Ms. Moore.
I move that we accept Ms. Moore's permanent status, I guess, coming out of interim.
Yes,
become is it Director
of Internal Audits?
Yes, ma'am.
It is
Director of
Director.
Internal Audits. Yes, ma'am.
I second that motion. Is there any discussion at this time? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes.
And this,
Ms. Moore, will you please stand to be recognized? Yay! All right.
all right, and this is the last one. We have a request to increase Deputy CFO Angela Jackson's compensation by 10%. The request is being made based on additional duties that she will be performing as the budget officer in addition to her current role. The cost of this request is $22,744, and that will bring Ms. Jackson's salary to $193,426.
I need a motion to accept the increase. What is it? Is the increase for the additional salary for Ms. Jackson?
Yes, ma'am, 10% increase of current salary.
10%, for a 10% increase of the current salary?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, can
So
I get a
moved.
question before the?
Yes,
Was the agreement for 10% or 5%?
10.
10.
All right. So I move that we accept the that we accept the increase, the 10% increase for Ms. Jackson's current salary,
And
that-
the extra duty.
and the extra duties as well.
Yes, ma'am. And HR, we will be working with finance to get an updated job description. We're already working on the job description, just so that we can have it on file in human resources, just to make sure we're above bar on everything.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. In discussion at this time, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair and Vice Chair, Board of Commissioners, last request for personnel. In light of our recent resignation of our Office of Economic Development Director, Erica Rocker, effective date of April 24th, we're respectfully asking that we put Mr. Patrick Ajike, Community Development Director, in as interim effective April 24th. Any additional compensation would be brought back to the board at a later date and time, but we're asking that in the form of a recommendation for him to carry on the responsibilities as the Economic Development Director until such time the board has made a final decision.
Does anyone have a motion?
I make the motion that we move economic development appoint Patrick Ajike as the interim director.
Second.
All right, any discussion at this time? All in favor say aye.
Yeah,
Oh,
question. I just wanted to confirm because I heard the entire economic development department would be now under community development. Am I hearing that correctly in
No.
an interim capacity? What can you explain how
Mr.
that-
Ajike
the
will be
logistics
serving
and-
as the Economic Development Officer, so he's carrying the dual role as the Community Development Director as well as the Economic Development Director at this time. Now, we can make recommendations about other things, including the contingency plan, that may take that into account at the will of the board, but right now, the only we're asking that he be moved as the interim director, so we have somebody filling the gap once she resigns from the position.
Are you ready for the vote?
No, because we just had a conversation around like interims and moving interims into permanent positions. Are there typically like time frames or time allotments, sunset dates that are added to interim?
Any board member that would like to make an amendment to put a sunset on that, that's the pleasure of the board.
I would not. I would like to keep it like it is because the person we just moved in was interim for how long?
3 years.
Okay.
But we plan on hiring for the economic development director position quickly because we need someone in there. All right. Are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, the ayes have it and the motion passes. Thank you. All right, at this time, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All right. Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. In discussion? All right. Are you ready for the vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it and the motion passes. You all have an excellent night.